eventually getting out. I had a lot of people advocating for me, as you know. You're self-included. God's honest truth. I learned through the TV. I was in prison. The inmates told me, come on. Honest truth. Download the full interview now at WABCRadio.com and the WABC Radio app.
Sid and Friends in the Morning, 77 WABC.
Hello, this is John Catsimatidis. Advertising here on WABC is just common sense. Nielsen has said that WABC is one of the leading AM stations in the country. Tell me what we can help you with. Increase your business at reasonable rates cross-country. Email me at cats@WABCRadio.com and I will get back to you and tell you the great deal that you can get on WABC. Email me at cats@WABCRadio.com.
This is 77 WABC Newsroom Extra.
President Trump is hailing the signing of a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, calling it a very important day. Trump was asked by reporters aboard Air Force One whether the deal could lead to a Palestinian state.
I'm talking about something very much different. I'm talking about rebuilding Gaza. I'm not talking about single state or double state or two state. We're talking about the rebuilding of Gaza.
Trump told reporters he's pleased that former President Bill Clinton is giving him credit for the peace agreement.
I've always liked him. I thought it was very nice, actually. Why does he do it? He's telling the truth.
Hello, Tasso. Hello, Tasso.
It's unclear what the long-term solution for governing Gaza will be.
A lot of people like
right here.
solutions. Some people like two-state solutions. We'll have to see.
Let me turn on this light. I think I'm going to turn on this light. Let me see what happens.
77 WABC.
Turn on this light. All right. Let me see what. Help it a little bit. I need to get my foot in here, man. Come on, man.
Greg Kelly Show.
Come on, man.
So cool. People are showing clips of President Trump at the McDonald's basically a year ago. Right
Come on,
now.
man.
How do you like my garbage?
Oh, man, that sounds good.
Campaign ever. I saw this.
All right. Let me turn that off. And hello, Tasso. Member for 19 months. Wow. Holy moly. Thank you for that. Thank you for all your support, my man. You're the best. You're the best. Bro. There's nobody other than, nobody he's even come close to that. And that Tanner guy, I think he's like 15 months now. Wow. I appreciate it, bro. Really helps out a lot. I had to make some decisions on this channel. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Let me just put some stuff over here. I got clutter all over my desk. So I haven't done a live stream in a while. I got so much clutter here. All this clutter, my God. Batteries and quarters and all this. Look, I got all these batteries on my. Oh my God, I got clutter, bro. Yeah, let me just put all that away. Because I want to play around with this box here, but it's not hooked up to a microphone. I don't think it's hooked up to a microphone. Let me see. It's one of these. They're Pro-Cell. My wife gets them from work. So they're like kind of Duracell. I think Duracell makes them. I'll show you the where's the box? So this is the box. Kind of dusty too. Anyway. Pro-Cell. So they kind of remind me of Duracell. So I don't know. They do I had a couple of them do leak. So you gotta be careful with these. But these are the ones they have in the hospital. So I guess they're good enough for the hospital. But I think I had one or two of them. But it was more my fault. I just left it. I didn't leak on the radio. I just left it on top of something, and I guess it touched some metal, and it was just on the floor somewhere in the boiler room. And then one day I look down, and I see, the white stuff. So let me see what this is. Wait a minute. What am I doing? I need to turn on the. I'll be right back. Messy. Oh my God. Okay, so how am I gonna do this? I don't plug for this, do I? I can reach all the way over here. be a little bit out of the way, but and it's on now. All right. I had to turn on my little speaker. Let me try something. Hey. Nothing. What happened? Nothing. A company. Is it? Wait a minute. Yeah, I had to turn it on. And then I get that, and oh boy, I hope it don't cut my microphone. Audio. Okay, they cut my microphone. And then. All right, so we have that. There you go. One more time. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So Tessa about to have late lunch, so I'll be watching. I appreciate that. I didn't put a time because I wasn't sure at the last minute I was gonna be on today because I did some taping. I finished painting day before yesterday. The kitchen. I paint all the walls, but now I gotta do the trim. So my my walls, of course you got the window frames, and then in between each window and in the middle of the kitchen, there's a wooden, like a molding, and it's been there for ages. It's been there, I guess, since the house was built. It's very, very nice, and it gives character to the wall. And I gotta paint that the same color as the window frame. So my walls are like teal, right? The kitchen walls are like teal. So the cabinets are like a light gray, like what they call gold gray. It's a very light gray. So I want the trim to match the cabinets. And it's coming out nice. I'll take a picture of it when it's all done. Of course, I got to clean it up. Right now, it's a mess up there, too. And then once I do everything, I'll take a picture. And then later on, I'll have to do the backsplash. But it's not that long. I don't know if we're going with tile or whatever, but that's something later on. But most of the 99.9 the kitchen is done. I just got to paint that trim. So right now I'm putting the taping, the masking tape, so I can paint the window frame and all that without painting the wall again. I just painted the wall. I don't want to. So that's a little time consuming when you do the masking. Anytime you do masking, well, you painted recently, right? Anytime you do anything that you have to put masking tape, you have to make sure it's right there properly, and it takes a little time. Yeah, so you're having pizza and garlic knots. My wife brought that a couple of days ago for my son. My son loves pizza. He's been on a pizza streak lately. Every day he's having pizza. And yeah, so let me talk about real quick why I renamed the channel. Now, of course, those of you who follow me know that I've been thinking about doing this for a while. It's been actually a year ago I was thinking about doing this. But I wasn't sure. I think I wanted to give the membership thing one more try. And also I wanted to see if I could really if I really want to do other content. And the thing is that there's a couple of things that happen over, and I'm going to say that with every channel. Every channel evolves. Every channel, there's rarely a channel that will do the same, the same format since they started years ago to now. And I'll give you a best example of that is Mr. Beast. Those who know who Mr. Beast is, he's a famous, I think he has the most subscribers on YouTube, or he's up there. I don't know. 350 million subscribers, whatever. And I was watching a couple of his videos from about how he started. And he started as I think he was 17 years old when he started. And he started as Minecraft streaming, just streaming Minecraft. That's how he started. I got on my nose, I got a red mark on my nose. What the hell? And he had a goal. He had a goal, and he evolved. Now, of course, Mr. Beast is known for philanthropy. He gives away a lot of cash. He's world famous, of course. He's also like a game show. It's like a game show now. So I'm not saying I'm gonna be the next Mr. Beast. I'm not saying that, folks. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, you know, I watch other channels. My son, especially the ones my son watch. Channels evolve. When I started this channel, I had no idea how to edit a video. I just shot a video with a camera, upload it. And I knew some about keywords and all that because I had done web hosting and all that. So I know about, I try to get people to go to your website, search engine, that type of thing. So I already have an background in that. But in terms of video, that was my first real video uploading and all that. And of course, we all, when we start out, we're shy, we're nervous. I didn't show my face on camera for many years, until the last 2.5 years, I believe. So we evolve. We evolve. When I did that one, I still had that video still online, by the way. My first video of this channel is still there. I have not deleted those videos. When I started this channel, I didn't think it was gonna. I didn't think it would ever be to the point where it is now. You know, 5,500 whatever number of subscribers now. Doing live stream. I didn't think it would ever get to this point. I didn't think I would have you know, and yeah, and I do take breaks because you know what, it is a grind, and I also had to do some acceptance, and that's why I renamed the channel, because I want to cover other things, but I don't want to have, and I'm still gonna keep my other channels, but I don't want to have like, for example, if I do retro gaming, I don't want to go to my retro gaming channel just do retro gaming for one person when I have an audience here. You see what I'm saying? So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna go all in. I already have my other social medias, Danny Radio and Tech. It's no brainer. If you go to my TikTok, it's Danny Radio and Tech. It's been like that for the last few years. Instagram is Danny Radio and Tech. What else? You know, all my other social medias already Danny Radio and Tech. My email for this channel is DannyRadioandTech@gmail.com. So I had that Danny Radio and Tech on my head for a long time. So when I started this channel, of course, it was just shortwave, Danny Shortwave Radio DX. Excuse me. And then right after that, I said, well, I just don't want to do shortwave. I said, let me buy a scanner. And then I started listening to police stuff and all that. And I never owned the scanner, by the way. And this channel, that's one thing this channel taught me, is I learned all that stuff along the way. It's like a journey. I learned all this stuff I learned along the way, like scanner radios, about frequencies, what frequencies they're on. I learned that by doing this channel. So it's a journey, you know? And but it only gets you so far. Even medium wave DXing, I done some medium wave DXing when I was a kid, yeah, but not to the degree that I started doing here and in the channel. And oh, that's my ring. And my ring telling me somebody's at the front door. My wife is upstairs anyway, so I think she's waiting for a package. And I lost my train of thought here for a minute. So, you know, shortwave listening. Then I bought a scanner radio. So I listened to the scanners. Then, of course, medium wave DXing, and that all became, you know, that's cool. I still enjoy it. But it gets to a point where, you know, that cannot be the only thing on the channel, because then you're never going to expand. And I want to expand. I want to expand into a broader audience. Plus, I have other interests that I really want to share. We all have other interests. You know, I like when we go to Jill's chat, he'll talk about other stuff like Commodore computer or Amiga, whatever. I'll talk about other stuff, and that's cool. And that's what it's all about. That's why I always said it. This is a community, and I want to talk about. And I'm not going to try to talk about other stuff. That I want to kind of get away from too. But I'm talking about, like, you know, retro gaming, you know, things like that, gadgets. I do get a lot of requests for consumer electronics to review here. I get emails weekly. There's one device I have right here in the box. that I need to review. It's been sitting here for about 3 weeks now. And I need to open this box and make a review on this gadget. And I really want to try this gadget because I really was looking in the market for one of these. So I will make this video soon on this. But you see, I get approached all the time. Companies telling me, well, we want to send you this thing. We want to send you this. And we like your channel. We like the way, you're, entertaining, whatever. And, they say all the right things, you know what I mean? And I want to welcome that. I like the desk. It's upstairs, a $400 desk that's upstairs. That was sent to me because of this channel. And I'm not gonna say no if they're gonna send me a desk. And all they wanted was a review. They didn't make me say anything that I didn't want to say, but they just wanted it, and they wanted me to post it. There was a certain format they wanted me to do it in, and that was it. And I did. And I got a $400 desk for just a little bit of work, and that's fine. And that's what it's all about. It's all about having fun, and and I don't know how much that I don't get commissions from that, by the way. I just said no, just send me the desk, and that's it. I don't want no other commission or nothing. I just made it clear. I said no, I appreciate you guys reaching out to me, and that's it. Especially at that time, I was not at what. I think I was over 2,000 something subs. It's not like I was a big channel or anything like that, but I appreciate that people saw that in my channel and said, "Wow, we could reach out to this guy and see if he can do that." And I get requests for other stuff. Some stuff I have to kind of turn down because I'm kind of getting tired of the. They want to send me more of these, and I said, "No, I don't want no more 2 meter, 70 centimeter, another Baofeng, another I don't want." Right now, I had the TK11 there. I've been using it, but not that much. And I'm going to say right off the bat, spoiler alert, it's been very disappointing. TK11, the Quanshank, it is kind of disappointing. And I'll leave it at that. In case anybody's on the fence about buying it, I'm going to give you a hint. Don't even bother. Sorry. I've been messing around with it. I'm going to make an extensive review on it, but I need to verify a couple of things on it. And like I said, I just haven't had time. I've been, really working on this kitchen for the summer. I did a lot of work on that kitchen. For a person that never done a kitchen remodeling, never done any type of plumbing, like in terms of copper tubing and copper pipes and all that, I learned a lot. I saved a lot of money too, but I learned a lot. Especially when you have a boss breathing down your neck like your wife, and I'll leave it at that. But I'm very happy with the job. I'm very happy with it. My wife is very happy with it, and that's all thanks to YouTube. By the way, YouTube, I learned that all that here on YouTube. So we all evolve. So nothing's gonna change in terms of radio stuff. But I do want to cover other stuff. And what I mean by that is I'm not gonna when I say Danny Radio and Tech, the tech part, I don't want you to think that tech is gonna be like over the top. For example, I don't want to name a channel, actually. I don't want to name that. But a real tech oriented channel. Like I'm not gonna get into the nuts and bolts about an operating system. I'm not doing all that. That's not what I mean by tech. What I mean by tech is it's a simple tech, when I look at an old gadget. Even the computer, Commodore 64 is an old tech gadget, right? It's a computer. So that's like computer. Things like that. Very simple. Not nothing. I don't ever want to be like that. I don't want to be over the top techie. I don't care for that now. I'm too old for that. My brain is not the same. I'm not gonna sit here and go through set up a web server. Set up a web server and all this. I'm not doing videos like that. No, I'm not doing videos like that. That's for the tech channel, the other tech, if I ever decide to do that. Those videos are very time consuming. I don't have time. That's the other thing, is I don't have a lot of time. So primarily it's going to be a lot of live streaming. I will be reviewing other gadgets, and I already done that here. The CD player that I reviewed a year ago, That was sent to me from a company, is a review CD player. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna review it. And I reviewed it here. And it got mixed reviews, you know. I mean, it got some, it got a little, it was positive. But I also lit the fire in me into like, you know, people reaching out for all this other stuff. Maybe I should just, and then remember, then I launched that Danny product review, and our channel's doing well. But I don't want to go to that channel just to do that. I can do it here. I have my audience is already here. It's growing, even though it's kind of slowed down recently because I haven't been posting anything, and you know, rightfully so. But yeah, you know, so nothing's gonna change in terms of the radio stuff. Uh, you know, but I want to incorporate other stuff because you know it's the reality of it too. Shortwave stations are less and less. You know, they're getting shut down or whatever. Medium wave is kind of also at some point it's going to get to that point. And also, you know, I want to expand. It's just I just want to expand into other stuff. And I know some are going to be like, "Well, I don't. There's no way I signed up for this channel for it," and so be it. You know, that's fine. You don't have to watch those episodes or videos. And you want to watch only the radio stuff? That's fine. If I come on here and I'm doing a live gaming, and you don't want to be here, that's fine. You know, I'm not. I don't take it personal. That's fine. You know, I feel like, you know, I want to do what's best for my channel because I quite frankly, I was getting bored. That's the reason why I had to also do the name change. I was kind of getting bored with it. I'm getting bored with the shortwave stuff. You know, to a point. You know, there's other channels out there that they do it very well. God bless them. You know, I don't want to be just a shortwave channel. That been established for a long time. You know, even that's why I did the name change. You know, I just don't want to be a shortwave channel. And when the reality is, shortwave is, you know, there's a lot of shortwave. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's dying. It's just different. It's just different, especially in this part of the world. It's not that much on this part of the world, but you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's dying. It's different. It's just a different, you know, it's just well, it is less. And I'm not gonna kid let's not kid ourselves about that. So, you know, I could, and also there's also it gets to a point where you start regurgitating. I hope I pronounced that word correctly. The same old stuff over and over. And I don't want to do that. You know, how many times I'm gonna post a medium wave catch from Iowa on another radio? You see what I'm saying? It gets to a point where it starts getting regurgitating. And okay, well, you call KXCO on this radio. That was cool. You got on this radio. That's cool. And then, but it gets to a point where, okay, now it's starting to feel like I'm just filling in, you know, filler. They call it filler. I don't know, content that's just there, you know, but you're not adding anything new to it. And that's what I felt, and I still feel that way. That was happening. That it was getting to that point where, you know, there was nothing, there was no more, I was running out of original stuff. Repetitive. Thank you for that word too. Yeah, it was getting repetitive. Like, how many times are you going to post a video of another radio catching Radio Romania? You see what I'm saying? It gets repetitive. And I'm not knocking those that do that. Like I say, God bless them. You know, they have the audience. They want to. I don't want to do that. I feel like I just don't want to do that. It's not what motivates me. Because it was repetitive. It felt repetitive and it felt boring. And I don't want to do that. I want a challenge. I want to be able to do other things. You know? And you know, when I see the trajectory when I see the trajectory of this channel, how it's going, it's not, you know, it's steady. So it's not like if I It's not a dramatic change. It's just a name change, basically. That's what it is. Basically, a name change. But I will not post as much, like radio, like a catch from this station, unless it's something really unique. And like I said, God bless the other channels that do that they post over and over. I got tired of that a while ago. So I really had to finally say, you know what? If you want to continue with this channel and you want to enjoy it, it's time to do something else, something new. Yeah, I do have a good audience for Danny Finance. But again, it goes back to putting everything here, because the problem is I'm only monetized here. And it's not much. I don't get much monetized here. You see, I'm monetized here and I only have a handful of members. It's not like I have 50 members, 100 members. I don't have, my channel's not like that. My channel is nowhere near. I don't have anything like that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I may just I'm not, and by the way, I'm not gonna delete any of those channels. If I cover that stuff here, it's not that I'm gonna delete that channel. I'm just gonna cover it here. That's it. I'm gonna cover everything here. I already have the audience here. Instead of you guys jumping over there, we have it here. That's all it is. That's the only difference. That's the only difference. Instead of me and you chatting over there by ourselves, because that's why it wound up happening I think 99% of the time was like that. We just talk about it here. That's it. And my chat, if people want to chime in, if they don't want to, they don't care about that particular episode, they could watch something else. That's all. And then, but the thing about that is when you do a live, it's not the current audience. It's after the live. It's after the live. If I get the views on it, and that's what actually counts for the viewing hours. Because for example, when I was doing the Anthony Cumia, right? I was doing Anthony Cumia. I would just let him play Anthony Cumia, and I would sit here and watch. It's kind of boring. Yeah, I talk to you guys. Yeah, we talk about stuff, but it was getting kind of boring. But believe it or not, the numbers were coming in. For a live stream, I was getting better numbers because of Anthony Cumia. I was like, wow, some things you just can't explain. If I do FM or if I do amateur radio stuff or whatever, my numbers never spike up like that. But when I used to do that Sunday night with Anthony Cumia, my God, I would have like 30 people watching. A couple of times I hit 30 people, I think, which is the most. Consistently I would be over, like close to 20. I would be like 15 people watching for the most of the 3 hours. I would have like 15 people watching, which is not bad. And then at the end of the live stream, each of those live streams would average over 400 or even I had some that went up to, I think one of them went up to 700 views. I never had that on any other live stream. And that's crazy. But, remember, I'm playing another radio show. So that got me thinking, like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing that I can't? So, I started thinking about it. Maybe it's just the radio content is, you got to change it up. You got to change it up every once in a while because it gets kind of, I want to say stale. But it does. Like any other hobby you do, my son is good at this. And I'm like that too. He reminded me of myself when I was little. Every hobby has a peak, and then you start getting tired of it, and you need a break. And that's me. I don't know if it's my attention. Well, I'm not diagnosed with any of that, but my son is like that. He's the same way. Like I remember when he was 3 years old, he was into trains. So we bought a whole bunch of different, he had different model trains, plastic, those Christmas trains. We have like 3 containers of model trains and plastic trains with the big tracks. He would put them all over the house, make a big track. And he learned everything about train. He would watch videos on trains. And then one day he just grew out of it. And I would tell Sanjay, you like trains? He said, no, I don't care about it anymore. Okay. But for about 6 months or so, he was really into trains. He was into trains like crazy. Then he went to the next thing, and next thing, and that's the way we are too. We're like that too, First year of this channel, I was buying up a lot of radios that I always wanted that I couldn't afford, and it's great. The hobby has been great to me. I love the hobby. I still love the hobby. It's giving me a forum to, and that's another thing. This hobby has given me a forum to branch out. And I met a lot of great people in my life. You guys on other social media, But that's what happens. We all evolve. We all have to evolve. So I have that thing. I have that gadget I have to review. I have a couple of things I want to set up here. Of course, I got to take the AC out the window. We're in the middle of the fall now. That's going to be a nightmare to take the AC out. I have to put all this stuff here. But I have to do it because winter's coming and I'm going to get cold if I don't take the AC out. So, yeah, it's not much is going to change. It's just that every time I do a live stream or every video upload, it might not be radio related. And that's so be it. And because I tried several different approaches and I just, I still want to do what I want to do. I still want to upload content. I still want to do live streaming. I missed it. I missed it over the summer doing live streaming. I still enjoy what I do. I do take breaks because there was a point where I was getting burned out. And that's not the first time that happened. I went through it a couple of times. And the other thing that I finally, really in the last few months or so, was acceptance. I accept now that maybe my approach was a little too, and I shouldn't say that, but not my approach, my expectation. Maybe my expectation was a little too high in terms of, certain things. And now I'm just don't care. They don't care now. I'll come on when I come on. If YouTube decides to demonetize me, then so be it. Then I come on once in a while until I feel like I have a lot of time on my hands, and I'll, so because that's another thing. The problem is that when you get monetized, there is an expectation for you to upload often. Even though the requirement is you don't have to upload often, but you have to upload at least every, because it's the watch hours they really want. You got to keep up there. So of course, this past month and a half, 2 months, my watch hours went like this. It really plummeted now. So I have to build that back before maybe in a couple of months I might get the notice. Maybe in 2 months from now I might get the notice and saying, well, for this time period, you don't have enough watch hours. Therefore, we're going to kick you off. And I learned a lot. And that's another thing. I learned a lot about being monetized. First time I was monetized, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know much about it, how to maintain it, how to maintain the watch hours and all that. Second time around, I learned about the watch hours. In fact, I even helped reach out a couple. I even helped a couple of people, including, I believe, my Radio DX finally got monetized months ago. And basically, that's what I told them. I told you're gonna have to live stream often to get your viewing hours to a certain point where you get monetized. And that's what he did. He got monetized. But the problem is keeping that monetization is not easy. And doing live stream is not easy. Doing live stream and with a niche is even harder. You understand? There's a lot of people that do live stream. There's people that have a big audience, but they're doing broader stuff like gaming, like tech. They're doing all this other stuff, real broader stuff. Crypto. There's a lot of crypto live streams that I've been to where it's just broader. It's broader. And when you're doing a radio niche, a hobby niche, it's hard to keep it's hard to keep an audience. It is hard to keep. I found that it's hard to keep an audience consistently because you can only cover so much over and over, and then it gets boring. You know, you can only cover so much about radio before it is, like you said, repetitive. It gets boring. I'm not gonna buy Renew Radio just to keep up with the channel. God bless channels that do that review every radio that comes out. God bless channels that do that. They review every radio that comes out that's known to mankind. I'm not doing that. I'm not buying every single radio. You know, not doing that. YouTube is gonna pay me tomorrow, and that's the first time since I've been getting paid from YouTube. I'm not gonna buy radio. That money is coming tomorrow. I'm not buying a radio. That's it. I'm not buying no radio-related product with that money. I'm done. You know, I don't want to buy any more radios. I have enough radios here. If now a company's still welcome to send me radio, they could send me a radio. But I'm not buying no more radios because I don't want my channel. I want to branch out. You know. So that's the thing. It's a twofold thing. It's not only because of my audience. I don't want to be one doing the same thing over and over for the next. Right now, it's 10-year anniversary is coming up next year. Next year is going to be. I just hit the 9-year anniversary. Next year is going to be 10 years. Next year's 10-year anniversary. I don't want 10 years to be, the same thing. At some point, I want to expand. Some people might enjoy my retro gaming. Some people might enjoy my retro computing stuff. Some people might enjoy. I'm thinking about playing music. I have a record collection there. I'm gonna do a music playlist. I'm gonna start playing music, and a lot of it's records that I never played before. I want to put it on a turntable and play it. Hi-fi, hi-fi stuff and all that, things like that. It's other channels that do that. Why I can't do that? One guy in particular, which he doesn't stay in touch with me no more, but I wish he did, was Arthur. Arthur Handicrafted Kitchen. I know when he started. I don't know if he started about the same time, but no, I think he started before me. He used to do Handicrafters only, Handicrafter stuff like old radios, and then he started buying up radios, and he likes to go thrifting a lot, but he also plays records, and I like that part. I actually enjoy that part of his channel more than the radios. And I have the same thing. I have the same, well, not the same collection that he had. You know what I mean? I have a lot of records that I never played. And I'm never going to play them if I don't have a reason to play them. You know what I mean? I don't want to just hoard records there and not share it. I remember a few months back, I think it was last year, I did a live stream from the Boiler Room, and I was showing James Farley some of the records that I have. I remember you remember James. And I'll show him real records, and they're sitting there. They're sitting there and just collecting dust, and this is a shame. I want to share it. And if I can play, I don't care about the copyright. I'm gonna play that. I'm not gonna make money off that video anyway, but I'll play it and share it with the world. And at least I'll share it. At least I'll play it and share it on a video, and that way, it's out there. Rather than to sit here on a crate collecting dust. You see what I'm saying? So, I want to, I when I watch other channels, I say, well, you know what? I can do that too. I wouldn't mind doing that. I enjoy when he does that. So I enjoy when Arthur plays like old, he plays like 78 records and all that. you know, old records and all that. And I said, you know what, I wouldn't mind doing that either. So that's why I want to branch out. You know, I want to do all other things, and I'm gonna have, of course, I'm gonna make playlists for each of one of those things as they grow. There will be playlists for that stuff, and that's it. It's not gonna be like, you know, it's not the end of the channel. It's just a different, broader direction I want to go, and that's why I renamed the channel. And you know, I thought about over months what I was gonna rename the channel to, and it finally dawned on me. You know, Danny Radio and Tech, because I already have, outside of YouTube, everything is already Danny Radio and Tech. So it was already a no-brainer to do that. And there you go. So I rambled enough. 40 minutes in. And I just want to say, yeah, you know, I missed it. I did miss streaming. I was, like I said, been very busy this summer. I'm gonna do a lot more streaming now. Like I said, there will be a lot more streaming now. It's gonna be a lot more. I think most of the content here will be streaming. Will be streaming. Only because one, there's a couple of reasons why. Streaming is the easiest way to upload a video. You just point the camera, go live. There's no editing, there's no planning, you know, and that's it. As opposed to when you make a video, you have to, you know, for example, unboxing, I have to go over there and plan it like that. Make sure my son is not running upstairs playing. Make sure everything's quiet. Then I have to rehearse kind of like what I'm gonna say, especially if I say something that I shouldn't have said, like, you correct myself. So it's more planning to do that than do a live. Doing a live in terms of planning is a lot easier. You just, you know, everything's working, go live. That's it. So that's why I see myself doing a lot more live, and I will still do videos, but I want to do more. I shouldn't say, I don't want to use that word quality, because I think all my videos are pretty good. I think as best as I could do it. And not even that, because some videos I'm just gonna you know, there's a couple of things I want to talk about right away, and I will make the video on it. And those don't require too much editing. So I shouldn't say that. But I don't want to post like more, you know, I don't want to post like another medium wave catch from, unless it's a very unique place that I have not, unless it's a station that I have not caught at all, and then maybe I'll post it. So there you go. So hello, James Farley. I hope you're doing well. I missed you guys. TV Radio 972. I hope you're doing well. Different Gear TV. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well, thank you, and I'm good to be back. Thank you for the kind words. Yeah. So you know, I'm glad to be back. And like I said, I got a mess in here, man. And before I came out to the live stream, I clicked on live, and this thing was giving me the circle already. So this computer, I'm gonna have to update it to Windows 11. This computer right here, the one I'm talking to, is Windows 10. So of course, you know what happened with Windows 10. Now there's no longer being supported. Although I don't know, I heard that they might extend it. I don't know what happened. Anyway, this computer is gonna have to be at some point. Oh, I may just put Linux on this one. That's another thing. I'm thinking about just having one workstation with Linux and try Linux out, because I am getting tired of this Microsoft stuff. And I know we're always gonna have Windows computers, but in my case, for example, when I do the SDR here, the server, the SPI, I noticed this is Windows 11. I noticed when I run the FMDX web server software and the SPI server at the same time, that's what's causing the SPI server to crash. If I run the SPI server by itself, it runs for days without crashing. So that, you know, I figured out finally what was the issue with SPI network, SPI server on this one. This is a Windows 11 computer. There's nothing running else on this computer. It has 16 gigs of RAM, NVMe SSD hard drive. It's a very fast, flash drive SSD. And then they're not very resource intensive programs running in the background. But I noticed when the two run together, I guess they compete for whatever. And then at the SPI server software crashes when the FMDX web server is on. So I'm going to have to make a choice. Just run the SPI network on this computer, and then on another computer, I'm going to have to run the FMDX web server. Because they cannot coexist together. They just cannot coexist together. It's just, and I tried it. Rarely the SPI server can run more than. I hope my audio is okay. Rarely that the SPI network can stay more than a day when the FMDX web server is on. But I noticed that because the last few days that I ran it, I haven't ran this thing for about a month now. Not a month, about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And the last few days, I was just running the SPI. And it ran. It didn't crash. So, and the FMDX web server, I still like the project. I notice there's more servers now in the US. They have one in Seattle now. There's one in Seattle. I noticed that there's one in Seattle. And there's another one, I think, around Tennessee. So they have more. And then on this side of the hemisphere, there's one in Curacao now. Curacao. How you pronounce that? Curacao. And then there's one in central Mexico now. There's two Mexican FMDX web server. So it's growing. The project is growing. Right now, it's close to about, I think it was 385 worldwide. I think they're going to hit 400 by the end of the year. 400, FMDX web server. I don't run mine all the time now because it's kind of boring. Seeing the same people go in there and tune like Chicopee. And I'm going to make, by the way, Tasso, I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. So I want to address that issue about the kids' behavior. So I notice the same people always going in there, and I don't want. That's another thing and it gets to that too. That's why he annoys me. But he does annoy me. But that's what happened too. The FMDX web server. There's a handful of people out that goes around to every other thing. Like they have nothing better to do all day than just jump around to different servers, just chat and tune. And that's not the purpose why I did this FMDX web server. I did this so when, for example, sporadic E-season, Michael knows what I'm talking about. Sporadic E-season, usually in summertime, whatever. I want people to go in there and see if they can get a catch. That's the purpose of me having an FMDX web server. That was the only purpose, to do it over the summer. I thought about having it all year long, but I don't want to do that. And that's another reason. I cannot do that anyway because I need to start. Me, my wife, and collectively our family, we have to cut down on usage because the rates are going high here. It's getting ridiculous, and I cannot have unnecessary stuff running in the background, even though it doesn't take much power. It's just, electricity is not free. It's not like I'm getting overwhelmed with members and donations and all that. Electricity is not free, people. It's not free. So, yeah. So that's why, I had to say, you know what? I cannot have an FMDX web server running 24/7 when it's only a handful of people that always connect to it and they chat and they just like Chicopee. So that's another reason why I say, you know what? I'm done with this. So, I know I said that I may bring it back next week. I don't know if I'm going to bring it back next week. I don't know. The SPI, that one is more broader now because that one I can share the MFJ 86 loop And that one, there's no chat, there's no drama. That's the other thing with the chat. There's always drama. In the AirSpy network, you allow 3 people. 3 people can go in there. There's no chat, therefore there's no drama, and there's a time limit, and they get kicked off after an hour, I think it is, or whatever. They get kicked off. They can reconnect if it's available, and they reconnect. That's fine. I don't care. I don't mind they do that. I don't mind. But there's no drama. Problem with the FMDX web server, there's drama. Especially all the servers that have the chat. There's always drama going on. And I'm too old for that shit. Sorry. PG rating just went out the window at 50-minute mark. I'm too old for that shit. I don't care for drama. I'm sorry. And that's what was happening in the FMDX web server world. It seems in Europe. Yeah, exactly. That's my thought on Michael. T rating 922. With FMDX thing winding down, it's probably best not to have the FM server. Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing. I don't want to have this on year-round thing when it's only going to be like Chicopee and 2 other people always connected to it. It's annoying. I don't like to see I don't want to see him here all the time. And I already made it clear to him. But I'm going to tell you, Tasso, because I know you guys, I'm not going to talk about what happened. I went into my Discord server and I saw a whole bunch of stuff between you and Chicopee and whatever, and I just deleted the whole thing. And I just want you to keep that in mind, Tasso, that he is autistic, number 1, and he's only 15 years old. So that's why I'm not giving him a pass, but I don't want to come down on somebody when they're autistic. You see what I'm saying? So that's why, I didn't react the way I would react. Normally, I would just ban the hell out of him, and that's it. But he did calm down and whatever. And that's another thing. I don't know if he's bipolar. I don't know what other stuff going on with him. I noticed that, and it's been going on for a long time. He had a channel. He had several channels. He had a couple of channels. He deleted one channel because he overreacted about something. He, said that people were bullying him. I don't know what that all about. He's 15 years old. I don't know if he's 16 now. He's 15. You understand? He's a kid. He's a teenage kid. And that's it. We're talking about teenagers now. And he's autistic. So that's why, I think Tasso, I said, you know what, Tasso, just let it go. You're the bigger man. You're the adult. Just don't chat with him. That's it. Don't chat with him anymore. Don't respond to him. And that's it. And if it does continue, that he posts stuff like that, then I will have to take the measure of banishment. And that's it. But right now, just, I wouldn't just chat with him and that's it. We just, bye-bye. Forget it. Don't want to deal with you. Because I did that here. I banned him. After that whole thing that happened here, I gave him the password to the thing and he fucked up on that. I realized that the guy, he's, like I said, he's a kid and he's autistic. So, my expectation was like, okay, I think my expectation was too high on him maybe running the server. So I say, you know what, Danny, that was you shouldn't have done that. And I made a mistake, and I did. I made a mistake. I said, you know what, I'm done. And then I lifted the ban. So I said, okay, you know what, so be it. And that's it. But I no longer, I kind of keep my distance. That's what I'm trying to say, Tasso. I just keep my distance. He was banned on Discord, and I lifted the ban. I said, you know what, I'm gonna let him. I don't have that many people on my Discord anyway, so I said, you know what, let him just go in there. He was posting stuff like, I think he posted one of my AirSpy. My AirSpy. That's he can post stuff like that. It keeps the So you understand, yeah? Oh yes, Danny, I'm aware. Yeah, so exactly. He's a kid and he's autistic, so you gotta take that into account. That when he does these outbursts, especially Like he's writing all caps because I don't know. The whole issue was well. I don't want to get to the whole topic here, but it's kind of about stray cats or whatever. I don't know. I don't care about all that. I'm honest. I have a million stray cats here. And I don't want to say figuratively. I have a million, but we all have stray cats. My neighborhood right here in Yonkers, I have a backyard that's nice. I want to say it's nice, but it's nice enough for. So I have stray cats. Some of them, I don't know if the next door neighbor, because I don't really speak to them. We're not like on a friendly basis. So I don't know if some come from down there. Now there's a man all the way down the block in the corner, right? There's a house all the way in the corner down the block where he takes care of the stray cats. He puts bowls out there for him. Like bowls of water and food. He even built a couple of right in front of his house. He built a couple of houses, like stacked up. It looked like a little building. I shoot a video on it one, then I'll show you, Tasso. And he takes care of them. He takes care of them down there. I mean, they're not and they sometimes they be in his backyard. I see them when I walk by. One time there was a tabby laying like this, oh my God, laid out like on his back, laid with his paws up like that. Yeah, it was in the summertime, and they eat good down there. He feeds them every day, and he also feeds the pigeons. He puts like wet bread on the sidewalk, and they all come and eat. So the guy, he just really feeds them. He takes care of them. Me, I don't do that. I don't do that. I see the cats here once in a while. I'll put water out there, a bowl of water, or I have like tuna because I don't have cat food and all that. I'm sorry, I'm not buying all that. Sorry, just people. Sorry, but I have tuna. I have a pantry and I have all this. So I'll open up a can. I'll put it in a plate. Whatever. And sometimes they tear that shit up. They tear that. Sorry, PG rating. They tear that stuff up. But I don't know if it's somebody's cat. I don't think it is because they don't have the collar. And I always see them all the time. The same coming here and then they go back over there. They go back. And then recently it was kittens. I think if you finally there was like 2 kittens that was with her, so they would go back and forth. And I just leave a bowl out there, and that's it. And I'm not taking them in because number one, in my case, I can't. My wife has allergies. My son, and even me, I get allergies for that. So I cannot take them in anyway because it's just allergies. I can't. I'm allergic to that, but not as much as I had cats when I was young. I had a cat. I had a couple of, and I had dogs too. So I'm not as allergic but my wife is very allergic to all that. So there's no way I can have it in the house. As much as I want to, have one roaming around here in the shack. No, I can't. Because my wife will, she's just allergic. She's very allergic to that. To the point where, even when we go to somebody's house, if they have a cat in the house, I cannot be in the house so long. I have to go outside. So my eyes starts itching and all that other stuff. James Farley, thank you for the super chat. I'm glad you didn't fall off the roof. Yeah, I know, and I have to go back up there too. Can I like it now? Can I reply to it? Oh yeah, I can reply to it. But thank you, James. Yeah, thank you for the super chat. Wow, pretty cool. Thank you. So so the whole issue about what you guys are talking about, I don't know. And let me read what it says here. Yeah, I do have a Discord. Although I'm not on it much, so it's not a big deal. I just I didn't even promote it here. I don't have much on it. And that's another thing I got to talk about because now YouTube is going to incorporate some of that here, actually. What I mean by that is, let me talk about that whole thing, and then I'll get to that because that's something they just sent me recently, and I think it's going to change the way we do live stream. It's similar to what they do on TikTok, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Tasso, yeah, no grudge here. I was just trying to make a point across to chill out. Yeah, I know. I read some of it and I was just I was getting really infuriated about it. But then I figured I'm gonna talk to you. I was gonna talk to you on the side and say, you know what? Just ignore him. And that's it. Because like I said, like I mentioned the age and autism and all that stuff. You know, as to we forget that some of us are, and I don't just say, you know what I mean. Tasso, he was ranting about me bringing the cat in my house. That's not something I can do. Exactly, it's another thing. He doesn't understand that you live in an apartment. You cannot bring every stray cat in your apartment and piss off your landlord. Plain and simple. Like I said, he's 15. He doesn't understand. He's a kid. He's a kid, but he's also, autistic. But he's a kid. He doesn't understand that not every apartment. For example, when I rent the rooms, I made it clear, no pets. And for the reason I did that, when I used to rent rooms, I made it clear, no smoking. There was 2 things you couldn't do in the room. No, you couldn't bring. I didn't want smoking because I don't like cigarette smoke. I don't care for it. I don't care about all the smoke stuff. And then, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about that too. Yeah, we'll talk about that if you want. And then also, I don't want no pets, and not because I'm sensitive. I'm not sensitive to pets and all that. I am, but if you're gonna live in a room, I'm sorry, you cannot have a pet. It just doesn't work. When you have your own apartment, maybe you can have a pet, or you own your own house and do what you want. But when you're renting a room, you should not have a pet. I'm sorry, especially a dog or a cat. Because I know people people might say, whatever, he's a family member, whatever. That's great, but some people don't care. That's it. They just don't care. Another thing is, some pets, I witnessed this, can be destructive. Okay, that means they can chew through your door, wreck your walls, you name it. It has happened. I've seen that happen. Not under my watch or my house here, but I seen the videos on there where people had dogs, pets, and all that, and when they moved out, their place was wrecked. Okay, so that's another reason. It's more of that too. Sorry, people don't like, how dare you? No, it's when you're renting an apartment, there's certain rules you have to abide by. That's it. You cannot take in every stray whatever, and doesn't work that way. And plus, it's affordability too. I don't own a pet. Well, number one, because of allergies, but number two, if I thought about if I wanted a dog, I just don't have the money. I don't have the money to. I'm sorry, for me, I just don't have the money for that. I just don't. I know people gonna say, "Well, how dare you?" No, I have a kid. I have a kid. You see what I'm saying? And I know I'm gonna get those people. I've seen them on TikTok and all that. Why would you want to have a kid when you can have this? That's stupid. I'm sorry. When people say that, that's just stupid. Why would you want to have a kid when you can have this? And they put a dog or puppy, whatever. Stupid. I'm sorry. You don't have a kid because nobody want to be with you. Maybe that's what it is. Sorry. Nobody want to hook up with you. Stop saying you don't want to be. You don't want to have kids because you have a dog. That's stupid. I'm sorry. It's just fucking dumb. Sorry. I hate watching those videos. No, you don't know what, then, because you don't know. You never had a kid. That's why. Some people, being a father is the greatest thing in the world. And I'm not talking about, like, even the Mother's Day, when I seen that Happy Mother's Day and they bring out a puppy, a dog. No, that's not mother. You didn't give birth to a dog. Come on, man. Cut it out with that shit. I understand they're cute and they're loyal, whatever. I get all that shit. But don't say stupid things like, Why would you want to have a kid when you can have this? Come on, cut it out. Jesus Christ. The fuck, bro? God damn it. Sorry, I went on a rant already. There you go. Official rant is back. Anyway, but that, in my case, my defense is, one, she's allergic to it, and I'm allergic to it too. My son, I believe, is allergic to it. Also, cost. It's not cheap. You would think you're taking a no. You got there's a lot of things. You got food, time. Now you got to get this. Now you got to get this pet time. No, I can't do it. The ones that I don't like is the what I hate is the ones that take pets and then they decide, oh, I don't know what to do with it, and they just abandon it. That's what I have an issue with. That's what I have an issue with. That's why I never, all these years, only recently I thought about it. I even nudge my wife once in a while. Oh, you want to get a dog? Want to get a dog? And she's like, no. I say, okay, I'll leave it alone. Or a cat. And she goes, no. I say, okay, leave it alone. I do. I try once in a while, but it is what it is. Yeah. Exactly. That's not something you can do. You live in an apartment. You have a landlord. You can't just pick up every stray cat. What you're gonna have like 10 cats in your house? I know you have birds. Believe it or not, even birds. Some people might find that annoying. A bird next door, singing away. That's one thing I grew up on. I grew up on birds. My mother always had a bird. My mother always had a parakeet or a budgie or even parrots. My mother always had birds, and we were used to it. Birds singing and whatever. But some people might find that annoying. Believe it or not, you'd be surprised. Yeah, there's a parrot count. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I know he means well, but again, 15 years old. He doesn't, he doesn't know anything. Different gear TV. I got a budgie in here, and sometimes he goes nuts. Yeah, we have birds, and sometimes they go crazy. And in my case, in the Bronx, we had chickens. We had a chicken. We had a rooster in the backyard. We had a rooster. And he would rooster 5 o'clock in the morning. 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, he will be crowing. Nobody ever complained because it's our house. It's our house. It's our own private house. My neighbor didn't care. They didn't care. He had a dog. He had a big dog that would bark every so often. So they didn't care. But in the wrong neighborhood, yeah, that would not be acceptable. Having a rooster. Over here in Yonkers, there's an ordinance for that. That's the first thing I thought about when I moved here. I thought about buying a couple of chickens and build a chicken coop and get a rooster. But there's an ordinance and all that. You got to be careful with that. I can take up to 5 chickens, but no rooster. Check that out. But no rooster because of the noise. And that's here in Yonkers. It's nuts. It's crazy. James Farley, Danny, I took your advice and bought $100 worth of silver a while back. Good investment. Yeah. Yeah, when I made that video, the last video, gold was the original video I made of gold. It was at $2,800, right? No, but I got used to a different gear. It was, he's out there in the backyard. I'm sleeping in the basement, and he doesn't do it that long. It's only like I think he would crow for a couple of minutes. They don't crow like an hour straight. No, when they crow, it's like a minute or two at the most. Not even a minute. Not even a minute. I mean, you can hear him. Like a block away, you could probably hear him too. But it was just like maybe a minute or so. I don't know. It wasn't that long. It wasn't like he does that all day. It's not like that. They do it at certain times. That's it. So it's not, it's not, and people find it, it's not that. It's not like if you leave a dog. Was worse if I seen people leave dogs in the backyard tied up and they start barking and barking and barking because they tied up. And that's the worst thing I seen. That's the worst thing I heard in the city was people leaving the dogs in the yard. And either they tied up or they just haven't been fed all day or whatever, or I don't know. That I find that to be more you know, I don't want to say noticeable in terms of noise. There's a dog back a few blocks up here. Sometimes he bark for a while, and I'm wondering what's going on in the house. Why is he barking so much? Is it because the owner's not there and he's something's going on? But then an hour later he would stop barking. Things like that. Yeah, I know, Tasha. It is some stupid thing people say that about. Yeah, I seen videos at the Happy Mother's Day. Look at my baby, and they bring up a puppy or a dog, whatever. A small dog or whatever. Or they bring up the dog, the dog. Usually it's a dog. And like, why would you want to have children? And then some people actually write stuff like, "We don't deserve them. We don't deserve them." I'm like, stupid fucking dummies. And they all have one thing in common: they're all single, fucking older women, probably. Husband ran out with a younger chick, got tired of their yapping, and fucking left them. Who fucking knows? Jeez, fucking yentas. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry if I offend any white yentas out there. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, cat lady. That's another cat lady. It's like this guy running for mayor. He's like, he's gonna fucking lose to a fucking communist. Why? Because he's talking about cats. You're gonna have cats in Gracie Mansion. Nobody want to hear that shit. People want crime to be down. Jesus Christ. Want to hear about having. Well, anyway, let me shut up. Yeah, so James Farley. Yeah, so when I made that first gold video, it was at 2,800, and then the second gold video was the one I made last year. It went up to 3,600, right? So a few days ago, it went up to $4,300 an ounce. $4,300 an ounce gold. And silver went up to $50. I think it was at $53 an ounce. So when I bought my silver, it was around $30. When I bought my silver, my ounce of silver, it was so you bought $100 worth of it. When you bought it like a month ago or so. When you bought silver, what was the silver price when you bought it? $100 worth of silver. That's pretty good. Yeah, so $4,300 an ounce gold went up to, and that's another thing. Like I said, when gold goes up, silver usually goes along with it, and other precious metals. So yeah, I was like, wow, and of course, I didn't buy any more gold since that gold that I bought. Okay, so you bought it when it was $23. So you doubled. You could have doubled your money. You could double your money right there if you decide to sell it. But now I wouldn't sell it. I keep it long term. Yeah, so you bought it back when it was $23 an ounce. Okay, yeah, it went up to $53 an ounce. Silver. It was today is Monday, right? My son doesn't have school today because they celebrate Diwali here. He has no school today. It's a holiday here in New York State now. Governor Hochul made it a holiday official. So they said your best bet is to buy for silver has to buy silver proof sets. Yeah. Where's my box of silver? Right here. So I have it right here. My precious metals are right here. Last time, let me see. Of course, I got more. I got more of this. My brother gave me a whole bunch of it. I got more currency for my collection. And of course, yeah. North Korea, baby. Let me go down here to the metals. Yeah, of course. So I got the ingot and the bar. See the bar? Silver bar. So of course, this 1 ounce of silver. So you bought it when it's $23. Wow, you got a good deal. I bought mine when it was like $30. It was 30. Anyway, so almost. But these are long term. I'm stacking long term. Of course, I have a lot. I have a bunch of copper and copper also. And then the silver, I have this one too. This other one, I have a few of them. But the Cougaran, 1 ounce. So yeah, no, I plan to buy more. I definitely want to buy, keep stacking because this is for long term. Long term. Of course, in my case, I think when people tend some how should I say? Yeah, I will. I'm stacking on all of them. There was somebody that I was listening to, and he mentioned about that about the electric car industry. Right now, it's kind of like, but not only electric cars, which is happening now, autonomous cars. So a lot of those autonomous cars are going to be electric. Like, what is it? Waygo? How do you pronounce that? In New York City, they're starting to Waymo, or what is it called? I don't know. New York City, they're experimenting with that now. In LA, they already have that out there. It's driverless cars. It's a cab. It's like an Uber. You take a cab, but there's no driver. It's autonomous. So yeah, copper is the most. It's gonna be as we go on. Also AI. That's another one that I meant. I forgot. Since AI is going through the roof now, we're gonna need more computing power. We're gonna need more, servers, more, computers, more power hungry computers and all that. So the demand of copper is gonna go higher because obviously we talking about semiconductors, processors, all that stuff, whatever, chips. So copper and silver, gold too. Gold, of course, going up, but gold is going up not because of the manufacturing. Gold is going up because of intrinsic value of gold. It's just gold is but the ones that are going to be more in demand is copper because that's the one that's going to be used a lot in those type of industries. So that's why, and silver too. So yeah, I will stack on all three of them. Now, financial advice, people, I gotta say that disclaimer. And also gold. People tend to buy gold as an investment, like, no, gold. The reason why most people buy gold, or I will buy gold, is for purchasing power, meaning that it's a hedge against inflation. That's all gold is. It's basically, of course, other values and intrinsic or whatever, beauty of it, whatever. But it's the purchasing power. It's not that you're gonna outperform the S&P 500 long term. It's not about that. Although it has almost outperformed in the last 40 years the S&P 500. So if you were to, for example, if you were to have like $12,000 worth of gold back in 1978, that $12,000 right now would have been $150,000. You see, because because of the price alone. But you could also say that about the stocks. You know, if you would have had $12,000 on S&P 500 index fund, right now it could probably be worth probably more. It probably would have been worth, instead of $150, probably would be worth almost a $250,000, depending on I think the S&P 500 is still the best way to go. If you want to build wealth long term, S&P 500 index. And that's not financial advice. It's just, in our case, it's been done. S&P 500 index. Just take a little, whether you have a 401k or 453b or whatever. People when people her job, and when I worked there with Kawasaki and all that, people other companies. Anyway, what would you put your money in? And I'm not giving them financial advice, but I would tell them, if you don't know what the hell you're doing, S&P 500, because that's just the top. S&P 500 is the top 500 companies in the world. That's what that means. Standard & Poor's 500. So that's your best bet. It's an index fund that takes all the 500 companies' price and divides it, and you get an index, you get a number, and that's the number that So right now it's at 6,400. I think it is right now, the S&P 500, 6,400, 6,500. I think, yeah, something like that. So that's just at the average of the 500 companies on the S&P 500 index. That's what that means. So that's your best bet, S&P 500 index. And that's what I tell people. If you don't know nothing about nothing and you want to put your money on, for example, you don't need your money 20, you have 15 to 20 years to let your money sit there, S&P 500. That's it. And not financial advice. I got to say that all the time because I don't want to get flagged saying that I gave advice. It's just, what we done. And it's just out there. The data's out there. S&P 500 outperforms pretty much everything. There's only a few exceptions, but they're very risky. Bitcoin has outperformed the S&P. Oh boy, what's this connection unstable? Oh my God, this is my fear. Let me know if I'm still here. I just saw the warning come up. So let me know. Somebody say something, please. I just saw the warning come up, and they said the connection was unstable. Let me wait. Jesus Christ, man. This thing is... I'm going to put hello, see what happens. Let me see what happens. Oh, okay. I'm okay. All right. I just saw a yellow warning message saying my connection is unstable. Yeah, so silver hit $82 in 1970. I know it went up to something. I didn't know it was $82. Wow. Yeah, so it's doable. It's doable. I mean, they were predicting it was gonna hit $50 by the end of this year. So I already achieved that. So thank you, Michael. Okay, so stream is fine. Okay. Yeah, I just got the message here. It popped up saying I had the yellow letters with the yellow triangle, whatever, saying your stream is unstable. This connection is unstable because I'm using a gigabit Ethernet to the router, but I don't know what's going on with this line. Anyway, I think this streaming computer is going to be overhauled. Don't know yet. And I had trouble connecting earlier. I connected earlier live stream, but it kept giving me that circle thing, so I had to cancel it. So this is my second attempt right now, actually, on this computer. So yeah. Yeah, I will be nervous driving driverless car. Exactly, Michael. T-Running 970. That would make me nervous. Yeah, that would definitely. Oh, there was a big cyber attack this morning. Yeah, maybe because the other day YouTube was acting up. I couldn't watch a video on YouTube for a few minutes. My son he was on his computer, and I was trying to watch a video on the TV, and I kept getting an error message, and I was like, "What's going on?" Now that you mentioned that, I think there was something on the news about that, about some kind of cyber thing going on. Anyway, oh God, yeah, yeah, James Farley. All those servers take a megawatt and needs a lot of copper. Yeah, so this AI is not going away. It's only going to get more and more. And of course, the driverless car, that's AI. That's all AI. So they're already implementing it here in New York City. The is it Waymo? I think it's called Waymo. The company's called Waymo. They're driverless cars. They have it in LA. I first heard about it because of the riots. They had the LA riots earlier during the year, and they were burning those cars up. And I was like, what the hell is Waymo? And it's like, oh, those are driverless cars. So they're implementing it here in Manhattan now. The and driverless cars. So they already started. It's here to stay. I mean, we already have. We had that for years now. We have driverless trains. We already have that. Not in New York City, but in other countries, they have driverless trains. I know. I watched Dubai subway, and they're autonomous. There's no train operator. They run autonomous, driverless, whatever you want to call it. So it's already out there. It's just going to be more and more. Of course, they've been talking about that for years. Driverless trucks. I know Tesla is testing that. They're testing all that stuff out, driverless trucks. So, because of course, truck driving is very, James Farley does driverless cars come with an attitude? I don't know about that, but hey, it makes sense why they're going in that direction, because that means that it makes sense why they're going in that direction. Because remember, if you're a truck driver, and I never driven a truck, so I don't know. These people don't go on. But I can imagine it's very demanding on, long hours on the road, and you go to a rest stop, you get rest and all that. But at some point, you're gonna be tired. I've been on long road trips with my wife, and I noticed that sometimes, you sleep. But in my case, I couldn't be able to drive long hours now. No way. I would be afraid I fall asleep on the wheel, and God forbid, So it's a matter of time before it's going to be driverless vehicles on the road, because it eliminates that. It eliminates, manpower. It eliminates paying somebody for, to drive. So yeah, I know. Same here. I'm still waiting for flying cars like the Jetson. Hello, RRT 08. Hello from Colorado. Hope you're doing well. Long time no see. Hope you're doing okay. I hope you're if I remember correctly, it was your parents, right? I hope they're doing okay. I hope everybody's okay. I know you go out there to visit and so on. I hope they're doing okay. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me thank you for that, RT08. Yeah, I talked about that earlier. And we are just gonna cover more other topics, and it's not gonna be a major overhaul, but I will cover other topics. I'll make videos on other stuff. It's not gonna be overly when I say tech, I mentioned earlier, it's not gonna be like okay, helping mama now. I hope they're doing well. I know when you come on and you mention Colorado, I always think about them. I always have them. I always think about them. Yeah. So let me put the heart on that too. There we go. Heart there. Yeah. So yeah. So when I mention the word tech, it's not gonna be like I'm going into installing a web server on a Linux. No, it's not gonna be like that. It's not technical like that. Is I'll mention one channel that I do like, and I like his. There's a couple of channels I like this, but one channel I do like, and I watch his channel all the time when I can, especially when he comes out with. I know he doesn't post much a lot like he used to. Is V Westlife, right, from New Jersey. Um, like I like his channel. See his channel, he covers radio, but he also covers other gadgets. Old stereo equipment. I think the other day he made a video on what it was that he mentioned. It was a box that goes up to channel 82 and things like that. So I like his channel because he covers all these things, and he's not overly technical, although he can talk technical sometimes. But he's a very smart man. I really love his channel. I've been watching his channel for years, so I like his channel. Actually, I actually love it. She's one of the only channels that I really enjoy watching, even to this day. I still watch his videos. And then another one that I watch, but he mostly talks about computer, but he does talk about other stuff, is UXW Bill. I like his channel too. And you see, he covers a lot of stuff, but he's not overly technical, although he can get technical. And that's what I want to be. I don't want to be overly technical. I don't want to be like Network Chuck. I like Network Chuck. I watch his channel too. I watch Network Chuck. He's very technical when it comes to servers and all that, networking and all that. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be like that. Definitely don't want. I understand what he's saying, but I don't want to. I don't. So when I put the word tech, I don't want people to think that it's like I'm gonna go way out there tech. No, talking about old tech uh devices, things like that, gadgets, VCRs, stereo equipment, uh, you know, uh, things like vintage computers, old computers, consoles, that type of stuff. That's what I mean by tech. And we'll cover other stuff. It's just instead of having all these channels that I have to jump around on, I'm gonna do everything here. I'm still keeping those channels, but I tried different things in different channels. Um, similar to what, yeah. And let me see, RT08. Anyone changing from Windows to Linux? I'm definitely thinking about it with this computer right here. This is Windows 11. I'm fine with this one. This one behind me is Windows 11. But this one, I have Windows 10. I was thinking about putting Windows 11 on it. But I'm thinking about maybe this one I'll because I try Linux. I have Linux on my servers. I'm thinking about putting Linux Mint or Ubuntu on this computer. Because it's a live streaming computer, so I don't need, I can still do it on a Linux computer. You know, I think, and then of course, instead of using Chrome, my browser here will be Firefox for Linux, right? Firefox. So I may do it on this one because this is Windows 10. This one right here is Windows 10, and I don't know if I want to go to Windows 11 on this one. This one is pretty old. So, yeah, Mint Cinnamon. What's this engage your audience thing? Okay, let me. Oh, they have this new plus sign. Members only live streams. Schedule your live to switch over to No. Okay, so there you go. Anyway, so speaking of that, I just got reminded about something. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go to that one. Mint cinnamon. Yeah, cinnamon is the one that I have it on these. It's pretty good. I received there's a couple of things actually now. Also the dubbing, the auto dub, whatever auto dub thing. So I guess now my channel's eligible for that. So that's just if I think they automatically can make it in another language. That's all that is, I believe. My son had to explain that to me. I guess he watched the video and because I got the email on that about auto dub. What the hell is that? I was like, what the hell is this auto dub? And my son, he explained it to me. He said, Pop, I said, Papa, that's I believe they could translate it to different languages. That's all it is. I said, okay. So I may just leave I may just switch auto dub for that. I don't know if people want to hear me in another language, especially when I'm cussing. Or whatever, I don't know. Or translate badly. Because I never liked it. I remember when I went to when I lived in PR, Puerto Rico, and we would watch, they would be programming it that was, it was in English, like a movie that was in English, and they would put the Spanish over it, the voice, and it's horrible. Because of course it doesn't work. It's just horrible. So yeah, auto dubbing's been around for a while, but I think I know I got the notice from my channel. I think it was about a couple of weeks ago. They sent me an email saying your channel is now eligible for auto dubbing, and all you have to do is switch this. So I'm like, okay, because I didn't know what the hell that was. I seen it on other videos and other channels, auto dub or something like that. I'm like, what is that? Auto dub? Yeah. So that's why I just bring it up, because they meant, and also I think it was last week they mentioned another thing they're gonna do with streaming. And this is kind of interesting that they're doing this, is because I know T Radio 1992, you just mentioned earlier about Discord, that if I have a Discord server. I believe in Discord, you could invite somebody in your live stream, right? I'm not familiar with Discord to that degree. I only have a Discord server and I have I post stuff in there. But I haven't done live stream on Discord. But I think on Discord, you can do that. On TikTok, you can do that. On TikTok, for example, I can set up a live stream on TikTok and invite people. Or people invite themselves, and then you can accept them. Like, for example, if I'm doing this live stream on TikTok, right? And say you want to join in, you just send me an invite. And if I accept your invite, you come into the live stream. Then it splits. And then you're on one like that. So I think, so YouTube is going to try to incorporate that now. I think they already asked me. It's coming up soon, and I'm going to be eligible for it. I don't know. If that's the case, I wouldn't mind having a couple of you guys come on. Like if you want to come on for a few minutes and open up a little box. I know some of you guys don't want to show your face. I get it and all that. But you could come on and just even if you don't see your picture, maybe you just talk on the microphone or something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying. But I think that's what they're going to try to incorporate here on YouTube. And they're doing that because, one, TikTok's been doing it for a while. It is very popular on TikTok when they have groups. And Discord. Discord seems to be grabbing their attention. Discord. Because I've seen that on Discord too. I know Robbie Strike does that on his live stream. And it's twofold, because sometimes when I go into his live stream, sometimes it gets overwhelming when you have, especially there's always one guy in there that he seems to talk over everybody all the time. It can get annoying when that happens. So, and I know Robbie Strike probably doesn't want to tell him, listen, you need to take it down a notch. Me, I would have told him, listen, this is my stream. You can chime, but don't talk 24/7. Let other people talk. And I sometimes have like 5 people and at the same time. And you have to give people equal amount. You can't just be one guy, blah, 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 blah. And that's what happens in his live stream. Sometimes that happens. And when I go on there and I see that, I just leave the live stream. I can't listen to that guy. Because he sounds very, I don't know. I think he's a little obnoxious. In fact, not a little. I think he is obnoxious. And he's there all the time. And at some point, I would say, listen, this is not your live stream. This is my live stream. But you know, and he just goes on and on and on and on and on. I mean, oh my god, like nonstop. Wow. And I see Robbie looking and shaking his head like, okay, he wants to chime in on his own live stream, and he can't because the guy doesn't shut up. So it's kind of a juggling act. But on TikTok, you see that on TikTok all the time. When you scroll the live stream, there's some of them that have multiple people on it. So I believe they're gonna incorporate that soon on YouTube. So if they do that, I don't mind, you know, especially the regulars, if they want to come on and talk, you know, and we could talk like that. That would be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind doing that. I know you could do that with Zoom. And all that. And you know, but I don't have Zoom. Yeah. Yeah. Get off my phone. That's what I would tell him. Yeah. But I think Robbie doesn't want to just, you know, maybe he just see. I would have spoke to him away from the live. I would have said, listen, I got a couple of people telling me that you go on too much. You need to take it down a notch. And that's what I would tell him. You know, I wouldn't do it in, over the air. I would do it privately, and then if he doesn't get the hint, then I would just say, no, you can't be on the live stream no more. You just too over. Plus, now another thing about him, his microphone is always too high. That's the big one. Because, you know, you got different levels, right? So Robbie Strike is normal. The other guys don't. His microphone is always loud. Like, really, when he talks, it's like, I'm right here. You know, like, yeah, he got super. That's what it is. So that annoys me. It's when he talks, I have to go, what the hell, bro? I have to lower the volume. And when I do that, I say, you need to fix. So somebody needs to tell him that. And I think I covered it. I said, yo, I wrote a couple of times, yo, you need to lower the game, bro. You're too loud. That's what I wrote. And he didn't listen to me. That's what happened. That's why I couldn't be in that chat anymore. Because his mic is super loud. So that's the only thing about that. So I know. So apparently YouTube is going to incorporate that soon. I got the notice for that. So when that happens, of course, you know, we'll work that thing out here. And I know some people don't want to show their face, and that's fine. You know, it's like Zoom. I believe you don't have to show your face. You can just shut off the camera and leave the microphone on. So because I've been on Zoom many times, so the same thing. You could do that with any. Well, I don't know about this live stream, but I know on Zoom you could do that. So I believe it's the same thing. You could have the microphone off or put a thumbnail. You know, you can use like a thumbnail photo of whatever, and then you could just talk. Have the microphone. And that's it. As long as you have the microphone on, you'll be in the live. And they'll just put your thumbnail. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's another hobby I would like to cover here. FTA. I'm thinking about really considering bringing that dish. It's in the garage. Been sitting there for years. Do a FTA setup in the backyard. So I'm thinking about it, but I'm gonna wait till next spring because I'm thinking about that raised bed. I'm gonna move it, and then I'm gonna put a mast there. I have a big. It's a 4x8. What do they call it? It's not a 4x8. It's an 8x8. I'm thinking. Anyway, I'm thinking about putting a mast there. Where the raised bed is at, you know what I'm talking about. So you see my videos on my other channels. Put a mast there because if I'm gonna put a dish on the ground, that's the only spot I could put the dish on. Because a big dish, it's not on. And I may switch that one to a C-band dish. Yeah, but no, I don't want to do it on the roof. I don't want to do it on the roof because those J mounts, they're for smaller dish. They're not for the one that I have in the garage. Is a KU dish. It's big. It's a 90 centimeters. It's really big. It's like I can't put that there. That's too heavy. That's too heavy. That one needs a thick. Yeah, no, those need a bigger as a bigger mass. It's a bigger pipe. Cause that's like 3 feet wide. Is it 3 feet? Like 3-footer. So you can't put those up there. Those are not the Dish Network. So yeah. So anyway, the only spot I can do it on in the yard because of all the trees and everything is that corner. Because I get an opening of the sky here. Enough. And then enough that I could probably get Galaxy 19. And that's because remember I got trees. I don't my that's the other thing but and if that doesn't work, then I'm thinking about going to one of these businesses and I'm gonna start asking around, put a C-band dish, put the big one. And that's the only spot I could do it without, because I need the opening here. That's the only place I can put it. I don't want to put it on the roof because it's too. I don't want to have that. That's nothing. I don't want to have too much stuff up there no more because I'm getting older, and I don't want to be climbing up there just for one thing. Like the radio antennas, you just put it up there and that's it. But with satellites, I'm going to be tinkering around with it all the time. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be going up in there. I'd rather just go to the backyard. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. So, and the dish that I have, I believe that one was an old C-band dish. Even though it's not the classic big ugly metal thing, but the feed horn looks like C-band. I think it's a C-band feed horn. The feed horn that I had on that one I believe it's a C-band. And then I bought this one. I had bought this one to try it out with an old Dish Network, but it didn't work. This is a standard LMB. This is a standard one. See, it's yellow. I had it up on the roof, but I couldn't line it up to Galaxy 19. But I had this one too. But the feed horn that dish had is a C-band. Because I came from a business. They were gonna throw that out. And we went up to I forgot where up there in Armont, somewhere up there. It was up there, not all the way upstate, but it was a few miles away. By Brewster, I think. I don't know. It was a company up there. So we brought that dish back, and it had the C-band. Yeah. So that was from a business. It was an office building, and it had the C-band. I could see the feed horn. It looked like a C-band. At some point, I'm gonna bring it in here. I'll bring the feed horn so you can look at it. I think it's a C-band feed horn or LMB. I don't know what they call it. LMB, right? LMB. Yeah. So I would like to do one at some point, and of course they'll be in this channel doing that too. Because I'm more fascinated about the C-band. So at some point I want to use it. It's sitting in the backyard. It's sitting in the garage. I want to, yeah. So, and for that spot, I may just want to have a C-band because that's the only one that might catch more. Because remember, I'm in a spot there and I got a limited view of the sky. So I'm going to have to take what's there. That's it. I'm not going to have a choice. I have old receivers though, but I will get a new one. They're not that expensive. I will get a new one. I will get like an Amico or something new. I have 3 ViewSat boxes from 25 years ago, whatever it was. I have those. And I had the different definitions. I have one that's HD. The last HD, I had the ViewSat HD Max, which has HDMI. It has MPEG 4, I believe. But I don't think I would use that one. I think I would just get a new one. Because I watched this channel called Norcoaster Hobby or something. He's a guy from Canada. Norcoaster Hobby or something like that. He does antenna videos too. He reviews antennas and he talks about satellite and all that. So he kind of broke that down that if you can still use an older box, but you're gonna have to put all the parameters yourself. With the newer box, you don't have to do all that. It kind of already knows all that stuff. That's the difference between the two in terms of the setup. So, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go upstairs for a minute. I want to check up on them upstairs, and then I'll be right back. Give me a few minutes. Shut this off. Yeah, it's like it's just windy, but let me shut it off. All right, turn it off. All right. Anyway, they're okay. All right. Sorry about that. I had to shut off the boiler. I forgot I had it on. Because it got chilly the last at night though. But today it was a little windy outside right now. It's 58 degrees Fahrenheit. It went up to like 70 yesterday, no? Or something like that. It's crazy weather. It goes up 70 degrees and it feels cold, and so yeah, I put this over here. And welcome back. Oh my god. Let me get this cable over here. Let me do something over here. I don't know if it's gonna work, but let's see if it's gonna work or not, but let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I don't know how to do this, but you do this. Yeah, this guy. I'll show you if I can bring it away here. Trying to do the voice thing. Let me see. Let me take this thing out the way. Let me see if I can do it like that. Oh, okay. I think it's is it the microphone volume? Oh, there you go. There you go. I can't do. There's two microphones. The other microphone's right there too. See if I can do this. No. If I can do this. And then the sound effect. I know. Because this one is right here too. I gotta move this one away. Eventually I want to incorporate the same mic, but I'm learning how to do this. This thing is kind of tricky to do. I'm sorry about that. I hope nobody was wearing headphones. And then which is the voiceover one. And the problem is that this one, the buttons, the text is so small. I have to look at it. Let me see. All right, voiceover. I think it's this one. Let me see. Hello. Not that one. I gotta figure out the voiceover because you can change the voice. How to do that thing? I don't know how to do that thing. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. It's not this one. Oh yeah, I gotta go like this because it's buttons are so small. Is it this one?
Female voice.
Okay. Female voice. Hey, hey, hey! I sound like a chick. I sound like a chick. What other voice can I? I sound like a chick. Let me see what else. Let me change the other one though. Let me see what else they have. Oh, feminine.
Male voice. Lolly voice.
What voice? No.
Monster voice.
Monster voice. Monster voice. Yeah. I cannot accept your command.
Female voice.
No.
Male voice. Lolly voice.
That was Larry voice. What that was Larry voice? Oh, okay. What the hell? Okay, I figured it out. There you go. Yes, let me just move it over here. And I'll have a number one with extra cheese.
Monster voice.
I'll have a number one with extra cheese. Yummy. So there you go. So that's the voice thing. There's a couple of more, I think, but then you have all these sound effects. We have a ding ding ding. All right, let me lower the microphone now. Okay.
Awesome.
I'll put that one up a little bit more. Yeah, so anyway, I gotta mess around with it. And then you got a couple of more. You got the and then of course I could hook up my either through Bluetooth or a smartphone. I could put whatever sound I have on my phone, I could incorporate it here and all that. That's the only thing I need to that's why I'm gonna have a separate one. I have this one, this old one. I'm gonna because it was my son. I'm gonna wipe it out. I'm gonna put sounds on this one, but I got a better solution. And that's why I think I'm gonna go with the box set. After I talk about this device, I'm gonna use this device for the effects for the sound. But I'll make a video on this very soon. Because it's a mixer too, so I could put like other sound in there if I want, or music, whatever, things like that. So I'm playing around with this. I bought this at a TikTok shop. This was like $28. It was that microphone, this microphone right here. Okay, hold on. Let me see what that. I'm trying to put like that microphone right there with the arm and everything. I know I don't want to show my mess, but anyway, it comes with all that, right? The microphone, the popper. You know, the same thing that's here, but this is a better version. This is actually more quality. This is not so much quality, but you get everything, including this, including the including this. This is also rechargeable, but right now, of course, I'm using USB power, but it's rechargeable. So I could disconnect this and still be on. And you know, there's some sounds in there. You got mixes here. You got these inputs. 3.5 millimeter inputs. And it's Bluetooth. So for example, if I had sounds in here, you know, I can mix it and just play whatever sound here, you know, whatever. Or you know, radio that has MP3s or something, whatever. You could, all the 3.5 millimeter, you could hook up directly to it. You can do all that. I mean, it's a starter one. I bought it. It was $28 on TikTok Shop, so I bought it. I said, let me buy it. The guy was doing a live stream on it. He was having fun with it. I said, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play. You know, I that's what I bought. It was one of the things I bought with my last Google payment. I bought that, and it's pretty cool to have fun with it. So you know. Anyway, you're welcome. You're welcome. There you go. So just incorporate that stuff. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm definitely this computer here. I think that's gonna be it for the Windows 11. I mean Windows 10. I'm definitely gonna look into Linux Mint or the Cinnamon or something. Because I don't do much with this computer anymore. This is a streaming computer. That's what I've been using it for. Although I do have a couple of hard drives in there. I will make a video on another thing. I make a video on soon is how to back up all my stuff because I have so many videos from years. I'm starting to back them up in a central location, and I'm gonna make a video on that how I do all that stuff. My God, this is dusty in here. I didn't get to clean up this area, you know, right away because I was gonna be on today. Anyway, I wanted to check if she needed anything, so I'm gonna be on. I can be on for another hour. Almost crashed earlier. I got a yellow warning earlier. Not crashing because it was connection issue when I first earlier before I came on this live stream. Right before that, I tried to do a live stream and I was getting the infinite circle, whatever they call that. I call it the circle of death. When I see that, that means that's buffering. So right off the bat, I mean, I started a live stream, it was just buffering. It says you're live, but it kept buffering. And I said, so I had to end. I ended that stream. I rebooted my computer, and then I did this live stream now. So the fiber's been good. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make a video on that soon. That was one of the videos I'm coming up soon. I want to talk about my I had this for a while, over 2 years now, about 2 years or so, since I switched over to Optimum Fiber. So I want to talk about the service, how it's been compared to what it was with cable. Yeah, I have a gig up and down. The pricing has changed now. It's actually a lot cheaper now. I got locked into a deal. It was $80 a month or $85 a month total. I think it was something like that. But yeah, so when you upload videos, it's super. Yeah, super fast. Yeah, super fast when you upload, especially when you make long videos. Yeah, it's really fast. And my son is upstairs running around playing. Yeah, so it's really fast. Of course, streaming, it does help when you do streaming. Yeah, upload and download is the same speed. And what they call is it asymmetric or symmetric? Anyway, because I know DSL and cable, they have what they call asymmetric. Yeah, it's asymmetric. So asymmetric means, like, for example, your upload speed, I mean your download speed is always going to be faster than your download speed is always going to be faster than your upload speed. That's the way it was on cable. Like when I had the last cable package I had, it was 300 megabits download, but upload I think it was 35, 30. So, and 30 megabits per second upload is not bad for live streaming. It's not that bad. But I always wanted to host my own web server here, and that's one thing that that will come in handy for hosting a web server. Also, if you ever want to host a gaming server, then the upload speed is important. Like I thought about setting up, for my son. Maybe he wants to setting up. But if you don't need it, I wouldn't. You don't need it. You don't need it. But with fiber, it's already there. With fiber, it's already there. And fiber is always up and down the same speed. Usually, fiber is always like that. It's what they call symmetric, right? Before you had to pay extra for that. But now, with fiber. So, for example, in my case, fiber, I'm paying about $85 a month right now. I mean, it's a second year out of a 3-year deal, and then it expires. Then I could just leave and get a new price. What I'll probably do in my case is I'll leave because it's my name on the contract right now. What I'll do after this year is I'll leave, let my wife sign up for it, and then we'll get the new deal from that, and that's it. Or sometimes when you call a cable company and say you're gonna leave, they'll give you a better deal. Maybe they'll lower the monthly rate. But right now I'm not. My 3rd year is not here yet. So after my 3rd year, I'll probably do that. I'll probably just say, listen, I'm gonna go to Verizon or whatever, and then no, please don't. We'll give you a customer. We'll refer you to customer retention, and then they'll try to give me a deal or something like that. But because right now, I think Optimum Fiber right now is like $45 a month. The lowest one, 1 gigabit or something like that. I'm thinking about that Cell 2 jack. I have Magic Jack. I do have that. But I'm thinking about the Cell 2 jack. Now that you're reminding me about it, I may just buy that tomorrow. So I'm getting paid tomorrow. Cell 2 jack. And why did I want to get the Cell 2 jack? I forgot what it was. I think I want to hook up a modem. That's what it was. And I'll look into that because I'm thinking about setting up some kind of, I do want to set up my vintage. I want to set up a computer. Yeah, that too. I have corded phones. I have right here. I have 2 of them right there. I have a wireless one. The old wireless. I think it's a VTech. Yeah. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah. I got landline. I got landline phones. I want to hook up to. Or yeah. That's what it was. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, because I got 2 right there. She brought them from her job. They're touchstone. They're not They're not a rotary. But one of them looks like a rotary, but it's just a big one. It's right there. Yeah. So yeah. Let's see this right there. You see it right there. Both of them right there. So I got those 2. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So I was thinking about it. So I'm gonna look into it. Cell 2 jack. That thing is loud too. When that thing rings, I think it wake up the dead, man, when it rings. So yeah, I'm thinking about it. I have a Google number. I can forward it to it. Because you can use Google number. I was watching a video. A guy use a Google number to forward it to it. But I don't know if I want that and somebody just start calling him. I don't even answer my cell most of the time. So I don't know if I want that thing blowing up. I don't know. I'll look into it. I'll look at the prices, see if I can get a good price on one or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll go on eBay, see if they have a used one. Somebody has a used one. I can just use that one. I don't know. I'll look into it. Yeah, dude, thank you for reminding me. I totally forgot about that. Cell 2 jack. And then I'll make video on it too. Because I saw another video that I think somebody wanted to dial up. Use it with a dial-up modem. Just to hear the modem. I still have numbers. And I heard some of them might still work. But, then it's not practical to use them now anyway because I have fiber. So why would I want to dial up on? maybe just to hear the modem sound, and then connect. I don't know if even if it doesn't. I don't think it's gonna connect because it's not an analog line, or I don't know. But just to hear the dial, and then that would be kind of cool to listen to. Have it right here. Have a computer right here. Old machine dialing up for nostalgic purposes. Yeah. So RRT08, my parents have fiber. Is great. Yeah, fiber is great. I'm telling you, it is great. The issue that I had here, because right now my lines are on a pole. They're not underground. So when I had cable, when it get really windy outside, I will get sporadic. Remember, cable is just copper, and then every so often there's connections. So over time, those connections are gonna get loose. So I think that's what happened to mine when there's a windy day or a rain, a rainstorm or whatever. Sometimes I will get sporadic. I will get drops on my service. It would just drop. And I think what happened was that the copper was just water permeated through the coax, and it made it unreliable. And rather than them rip up the whole copper and put a new one, of course they put fiber. They put in fiber, and fiber is much more reliable. It doesn't you don't have that issue. Unlike copper and the connections, because remember it's just regular coax connections, right? Just regular. I don't have a sample here. I can just show you. But the connections, even the connections, they get water can go through there, and that's it. So that's what happened when we have the they're outside. They're outside on poles. So it was not reliable anymore. Even a couple of live streams here, it will just get sporadic and I will get drops. Remember my first live streams, it would be like that. I would be on for a few minutes, all of a sudden it would just drop. And it's because of that. Especially on a windy day or on a stormy day, I will get that. So I think in their case, when they rolled out the fiber and the pole, because on the pole too, the fiber, they're doing away with the copper now. They're just letting the copper. It's still there, the old copper, but I think they just it's just not cost effective to maintain that anymore. Everybody's switching over to copper now. Just like the old phone lines. Remember the old phone lines were up there? They're still up there. The old telephone lines, the wires are still up there, but it's no longer. Well, the old phone wires here, they're gone because all these poles are pretty recent, in the last 5 to 6 years. So there's no more copper phone line on none of these. Only cable and now fiber. That's it. There's no more what they call POTS. Yeah. Fiber is fairly cheap here in Spain, $25. It's getting cheaper here, though. It is getting cheaper. Right now, Optimum is about $45 a month now. So its price is dropping. And I believe there's another package that they only give you 500 megabits up and down. And I think that one is $25. I think that one might be $25 here. Because the 1 gig is the lowest, but I think they have one that's 500. I think. I'm not sure. Of course, now they have 2 gigabit. They have 4 gigabit. I can check. I can check over here. Let me check real quick. What are their packages? Let me see what their packages are. I can check real quick. Optimum online. Let me go to Optimum online. And then the speed. So they have up to 8 gig. So we have up to 8 gig. So they have, let me see what bundles. Internet. Let me just go to internet. Oh, they got business. I don't want business. Why residential? Well, that's business. That's why it's okay. So let me see what their packages are. Let me see. They have packages down. No, it's not down here. Sometimes they want you to put your email info. I don't want to do all that. I just want to see what packages. Let me see what the packages are. Yeah, so they're right here. Yeah, but they have bundles. They have bundles. Okay, so they have one that's 500 megabit. So they have one that's 500 megabit, up and down. So a half a gig. And that one is a bundle though. They give you some other stuff with it. They give you like Hulu and all this stuff for 6 months. So right now that one is $50 a month, 1 year contract. 1 year. But you could get that. But you could get that down lower if you do auto pay. Like if you do auto pay, they knock off another $10. Auto pay means that, of course, they just take it out every month. So yeah, and then they have a 2 gig. So they don't have a 1 gig now. So my deal is that's it. They have a 2 gig for $70 a month for 2 gigs. And then they have this pop-up come up. Okay, not interested. Thank you. Then they have a 5 gig for $80 a month. See, that's where I'm at right now, $80 a month. So actually, after next year, if I want to redo my contract, or I could just leave for what I'm paying now, I should be getting 5 gigs. Check it out. 5 gigs. Holy moly. See, $80 a month, 5 gig. I know you can't see. I'm sorry. Let me put it up here and then. Let me see. You can see it up there. Let me zoom. Let's zoom that. Can I zoom that? So, now it's too bright. Let me try. I think the glare for this. Okay, yeah, it's not gonna work. What is causing that glare? Okay, there you go. So 5 gig is $80 a month, and then of course auto pay you could drop it a little more, and then there's more. You side scroll. Maybe I put the zoom too much. Maybe if I put the zoom a little out there. Anyway, Jesus. Let me see what there's more actually. And then they have an 8 gig for $140 a month. 8 gig. So right now they're up to 8 gigs. Okay. So right now I'm paying about $85, but I'm approaching the last year of my contract. And then I'll probably upgrade to 2. I don't need 5. I'll probably upgrade to 2 next year. And I'll pay $10 less. So next year I'll probably upgrade to 2. I don't need 5. I don't really need 5. I don't really need it. So yeah. So there you go. Anyway, let me zoom out of that. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, so so what I'm paying now is the equivalent to 5 gigs right now. That's the price now. $85 for 5 gigs. So right now I got so let me lower this down. Yeah, 1 gig is 1,000 megabits per second. Yeah, that's what I have. I have 1,000 megabits per second, gigabit. And actually, right now, your internal network, for example, all these computers now they have gigabit network cards. So I don't have anything over 1 gigabit. I do have one on the server over there. I do have a 10 gigabit card, but that's fiber. But that's the only exception. Everything else right now is 1 gigabit internal anyway. So yeah, So for example, even if I were to get 2 gigabit outside internet speed, it's gonna connect to my router, and then from my router to my computer, it's still gonna be 1 gig. It's gonna throttle down to 1 gig. Unless of course, you can buy a card, and I guess the next router, if it's 2 gigabit, they probably have a 2 gigabit internal or something. I don't know how that will work. Like maybe dual gigabit port or something. I don't know how that will work. Or 2 gigabit speed network card, and then I will have to get a 2 gigabit network to achieve the full 2 gigabit from here to here. Because right now is even if you get 10 gigabits outside going into in here, I'm still getting 1 gigabit only. And if you're on Wi-Fi, you're not getting 1 gigabit Wi-Fi. I don't get 1 gigabit Wi-Fi. Well, yeah, actually a couple of Wi-Fi. This one I think achieves 1 gigabit Wi-Fi. Almost. This one Wi-Fi maybe 400 megabit per second or 3 something. The Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi is a lot slower. Remember that. All right, take care, Michael, and thank you for stopping by. And I'm glad to see you, and good to see you, and glad you're doing well. And have a good day, 73, my friend. Yeah, so let me go back up here. Yeah, so here in Colorado, towns have fiber as you go. Yeah, it's rapidly expanding. It's rapidly expanding because there's a mandate that every home in America should have access to high-speed internet. Not just internet, high-speed internet. So it's not like I remember like when I lived in the Bronx, in the block that I lived in, a lot of people had cable for years. We didn't have cable in that block. They just didn't, because we were underserved. When you live in some neighborhoods, like I'm gonna say ghetto neighborhoods, they're the last ones to get everything. They're the last ones to get, I was the last one to get cable in the Bronx. A lot of people had cable. I was the last one. My neighborhood was one of the last neighborhoods to get cable, just cable TV in the Bronx. And then cable internet. It was like, but that's the price you pay when you live in a neighborhood that was underserved like that. And then here too, when I moved here, they didn't have cable yet. Oh yeah, they didn't have cable yet. When they moved here, they didn't have cable. So they had to get satellite for TV, or over the air, or satellite. There was no cable TV in this block. And then about 20 years ago, finally they had cable, optimum cable, and then of course the internet. And then over here they had to use DSL for internet for a few years. DSL, because there was Verizon Fios, but not in this block either. There was no Verizon Fios. Verizon Fios was all over Westchester County and all that, but not in this block. Sometimes you can live in a block where it's like maybe in a not so desirable neighborhood. You're probably going to be the last ones to get it. So it's not only rural; it's even some areas in some cities. But I'm finally glad. This is only 2 years ago. A little over 2 years ago, we finally got fiber here. But fiber's been around for a while in some areas. But now it's more, they're rolling it out a lot. They're rolling it out a lot because it's competition, it's competition. Different Gear TV. I just done a speed test though I just done a speed test though, and it's only 325 megabit download, 356 upload. Yeah, that's another thing. Even though here it says 1 gigabit up, 1 gigabit down, it's not true 1 gigabit. I never went over 1,000 megabyte. It's usually 900. Sometimes it's like 960 megabits per second. Download, upload. Sometimes it slows down to like 740. It depends on the time of the day, how busy it is. It depends on the computer. Like this computer, I noticed this network card is not the best. That's why I'm getting these. I got these little hiccups. So this network card that's in this computer is, even though it's gigabit, is not the best. The one behind me is a lot better. That one I get up to close to gigabit when I do the speed test. This one I will not do. I may hit 900 megabits on this one, but I think this network controller and this one is not the best. So every computer varies. This one, of course, is not even hooked up with Ethernet. This one is I have this one with the Wi-Fi. This one on Wi-Fi with the speed test, I get close to a gigabit on the Wi-Fi alone. So this Wi-Fi card that's in there is very fast. It's a very good Wi-Fi card that's on this computer. So it varies when you do the speed test. It varies on a bunch of factors. Yeah. Different YouTube sounds low compared to but for the most part, an example here. If you live by yourself, 300. If you live by yourself, 300 megabits is more than enough. You don't need, especially if you're not doing multiple stuff. In my case, I'm using it. My brother on the second floor uses a computer all day. He watches a lot of streaming. I think most people now watch streaming TV more than regular TV. I know I do. This TV behind me, even though it has over-the-air antenna, I watch a lot more streaming on this TV than I do over the air. I think most people now watch a lot more streaming than over the air or cable or satellite, if you have either one. I think streaming TV is I think that's what most people watch their content. Like, for example, my Roku, I'll show you my Roku, for example. Let me get out of this. My Roku itself, I have apps. I have apps too. If I go to for example, let me go down to you have these apps. You see? Let me put it right there, like.
Was semen. The DNA profile.
Sorry, that was a live TV. That was a live TV one. What that light that's hitting it? I think it's the glare from that. Anyway, so there's apps in there. I already have apps. It's a lot of apps. You see, it's a lot of apps. But not only that, Roku also have the excuse me. Not only have all the app, but they have their own streaming.
Just a degree.
They have their own streaming. Like Pluto, they have their own streaming channels inside Roku. So not only you saw the apps outside of the Roku live TV, but they have other apps you can install. So all this stuff is free. So even if I didn't have an antenna, I have a lot of content I could watch. And of course, and by the way, this Roku is not even gigabit. The card on it is not gigabit; it's 100 megabit per second card. It has Wi-Fi too, of course, but the network card that's in here is 100 megabit per second. It's not even a gigabit. I didn't know that when I bought this TV. I bought this TV a few years ago, but I didn't know at the time it was only 100 megabit per second. I mean, but it still keeps up. For example, I like watching. I watch a lot. Bang, Locked Up Abroad. You ever watch this program, Locked Up Abroad?
And he's funny, he's actually really funny.
Have taken over the asylum.
He was a magician.
All right. Anyway, so all these channels now. I used to watch all these programs on true crime and all that. Now they have dedicated channels just for Locked Up Abroad.
Say,
You see,
"Yeah,
Locked Up
okay,
Abroad.
you are."
And I watch that all the
Yeah,
time.
someone-
I love watching that. Okay, let me go back down to. Let me just go back to the computer. ACMI. Let me go back to the computer. But with 300 megabits per second, you're good. You're still good. That's the point. That you're still good with that. In my case, like I said, my brother watches live streaming content. My son watches streaming content, and he plays online games. So he does both. He has two computers, two screens. My wife, of course, watches a lot of streaming content. I mean, the only person that watches over the air is me. This is the only TV in the house. This is the only TV in the house that's hooked up to over the air. The one on the roof. That's it. All the other TVs are not. They don't have over the air antennas. They're all just strictly streaming content. So 300 megabits per second. That's more than enough to watch 1080p. When you start running into issue when you start watching 4K. No more OTA. I took the wire down because she was not using it, and I didn't use upstairs. I watch YouTube when I'm sitting on the recliner. I watch YouTube. That's my time to watch YouTube stuff or the Fire Stick. I have the Fire Stick up there, so I watch all that content. Even the local channels, I get them streaming upstairs. So there's no point in, I only do it here because I like, me, I like to tinker. How many channels I can get and all that. That's the only reason. And, and God forbid an emergency, even the news I don't watch because, I don't trust the news over the air. I don't trust the news over the air. Major networks, I don't trust them. But I have it just, and also for sports. Also for sports, if I want to watch a whatever game, whatever's on the particular, if it's on over the air, I may watch it here. That's it. That's the extent of it. Everything else now, I watch streaming. The Roku itself, like I said, that Locked Up Abroad is called Banged Up Abroad. It's the same thing. Locked Up. If you know that program, you know what it's all about. It's people that get locked up in other countries because either one they committed a crime or they got kidnapped or something. I like watching that. So that used to be on regular over the air TV, but not 24/7. It was just one. They would go a couple of episodes, then you had to wait till tomorrow for the next. They have a dedicated channel here for Locked Up Abroad, and I'm hooked on that. I watch all of them already. I've seen all of them a few times. So they have channels dedicated to Locked Up Abroad. They have one for whatever crime thing, and like they have one for Forensic Files only. So it's every episode Forensic Files in there. Then they have one for Locked Up Abroad. So I like the Roku that is doing that. It has dedicated stuff. And they're free. That's a lot of content. You think about it. That's a lot. Back in the days, you would pay a lot of money just to have this content. You would be paying $100 a month or more easily and be happy with it. But now you're getting this for free. You got so much content out there for free. Even movies. The other day I saw the Gotti movie on YouTube. I saw it again the other day, the Gotti movie. The one with Armand Asante. I saw the movie the other day. Again, I first saw that movie on cable. First time I saw that movie was on cable. And then I seen it here a couple of times on YouTube. Somebody uploaded it. And I saw it. It was good quality movie. I was watching the movie. I saw Goodfellas on YouTube. The ads, now they got Goodfellas. I had the DVD, Goodfellas. I saw it on YouTube with the ads because YouTube has a lot of movies you can watch for free. I don't know if people don't know that. I'm sure a lot of people know that. But yeah, YouTube, they have movies for free that you can watch. And of course, the other ones, if you're a premium member, you get those. But I'm not a premium member. But I watch many movies on YouTube for free with the ads. It says free with ads, and you can watch it. So the other day, I saw Goodfellas. I was like, oh, wow, it's Goodfellas. I like watching. I like watching mobster movies and all that. And then what I saw, not recently, but Scarface. Somebody uploaded Scarface, but it was gone. I don't know what happened. I saw it on YouTube. I was like, just so the whole movie. I said, okay, I have it on DVD, so I don't care. But I saw it on YouTube. I was like, I was working on something. I said, let me put Scarface on. So there's a lot of content out there. So over the air, it's good to have it. Like you said, hobby. Yeah, to me, it's like a hobby. And in case of emergency, well, I don't know. Well, I don't watch over the air pretty much anymore. I have it. It's there. But for the rest of the house, it's all streaming. So you have 300 megabits, 325 megabits. That's more than enough. Even when we have 300 megabits per second cable and 30 megabit upload, that was still pretty good. The only problem that I had with that was the reliability. It kept cutting off because of the old cable that was outside. But otherwise, I would have been happy with that speed too. I would have been happy with that speed. So I don't need a gigabit. And 4K content right now is still, for example, this TV behind me. Because that TV has a 100 megabit card. And I noticed that the decoder, I know my LG TV up there, that one, when I try to play 4K content on that one through YouTube, it crashes. It'll crash the app upstairs. So over here, I can watch 4K better, but I don't really watch 4K. I don't see the big difference from 4K to 1080 to 4K. To me, yeah, you see a few more things, but it's not not the big deal. I still watch, even if the video says 4K on here on YouTube, whatever, I still put it on 1080 because I don't want to wait. I still want it to be, because sometimes you got to wait a little bit. I don't got time for that. 1080 is fine for me. I think 1080 is the sweet spot for me, especially in my eyes right now. I need reading glasses. 1080 is fine. 8K, I don't know when that's gonna happen. It's available out there. There's a lot of content out there. 8K. It's not right now. Most people stream on 1080. Right now, I'm streaming on 1080. Most people stream on 1080. I cannot stream on 4K right now. I could. This is not a 4K camera, but I have a 4K camera. I could stream on 4K. The only reason why I don't stream on 4K is two reasons. One, I don't know who want to see all my potholes and all that on my face. That's what you're going to get for 4K. Plus, you're going to wait longer. You're going to be waiting longer. You're going to be like, why would I want to do that? Inconvenience people. I think 1080 is going to be like that for another couple of years or so. Some people try to stream 4K. I'm not ready for that. I don't really care for it. So I think I think right now anything over 500 megabits is overkill for most people if they just watch a lot of content online. 300 is more than enough. So right now I have 1 gigabit. That's more than enough for this household. If I live by myself, I wouldn't even get a gigabit. I probably would be like, the lowest package Optimum has is the 500. I would just get that one for me myself. If I was, so 1 gigabit is fine. So anything over that's overkill. It's really overkill. It really is. Because I streamed, I done gaming online. You guys saw it on the Retro Gaming channel. It's more than enough. I don't need anything. I don't think I'm gonna need anything over gigabit for a long time. Until 4K is the real norm. That means like everybody has 4K. Then maybe. But right now it's a long way from that. I think it's another couple of years or so. So yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't go crazy. Like, I know they have 8 gig. You saw the speeds that I supposed. I would not go that high. There's no reason for me. No. I'm happy with 1 gig. I'm very happy. Believe me, I'm happy. I'm very happy with 1 gig. I don't see myself going to 5 gigs and all this. Just doesn't. Unless all the content out there becomes 4K and 8K, Right now we still got 720 streaming out there. There's still 720 streaming out there still. You know, right now I'm streaming at 1080, so I'm okay. You know, this is the norm. I don't want to go to 4K. I don't need to go to 4K for my content. Why would I want to go to 4K? What you want to see? Oh, you want to see all my you know, like what's the point of 4K in my case? Yeah, 2 hours and 40 minutes in the books, and thank you for watching. I'll be on for another 20 minutes or so, and then I'll wrap it up. I will be back soon. I'm probably going to be back in the next couple of days. I just did the kitchen. I know somebody asked me earlier. I'm done with the kitchen. All the remodeling is done. I painted the kitchen. The only thing I have left for the kitchen is I did some of it today. I started to put the masking tape on the moldings. You know, like the floor molding and the window frame, because they're not going to be the same color. The wall is like a teal, but the molding is going to be like a light gray. So I'm doing all the masking for that, all the masking tape. So I did some earlier today. I'll do the rest later or tonight or whatever, or early tomorrow, and then I'll start painting all the frame, the window frame, and the molding, and I should be done with that by Wednesday. Oh, everything should be done by Wednesday. And then I'm done with the kitchen. The only thing I have left to do in the kitchen is the backsplash, but we haven't decided on what type of backsplash. The backsplash is where, you know, where the sink and the wall meet, where the cabinet, where the countertop meets the wall. Some people like to put tiles or whatever material. So we're thinking about what kind of tile we're gonna put there, and that's it. That's one afternoon doing that. But we haven't even decided on what material, what tile to do. So we're looking into a few of them. You know, there's several things you could do. If you don't want to use tile, you could use like I've seen people use like a sheet metal behind the people. Some people use wood. Some people use like a wallpaper behind the backsplash. So I think we're gonna go with some kind of tile, but we just haven't decided on which one. That's it. And that's it. And the kitchen will be 100% done. So Wednesday I'll be done with all the painting and all that, and then that's it. And then the next project will be the bathroom. Remodel that bathroom, because that bathroom is horrible. That bathroom needs to be gutted. That's going to be gutted. It has an old tub from many, many years. Old-fashioned tub. So I got to rip that out. I'm going to gut the wall. Probably put new framework, because that wall looks like moisture has been in there. So that wood is probably rotted behind the wall. And then we're going to put new plumbing, a new framework. Then we're going to build a walk-in shower, because having a tub is irrelevant. Nobody takes a bath. Everybody takes a shower now. Plus, as we get older, I don't want to be walking in and out of that. I mean, but you know what I'm saying. You know, as you get older, it's easier to walk in a shower than a tub. And then once I'm done with that, then we'll be done with the. And that's gonna take some. Again, like I said, it's all new to me. The thing about all this stuff is that, you know, you're a homeowner. You learn how to do it, or you're gonna pay a lot of people to do this for you, and it's gonna cost a lot of money. And that kitchen remodeling job that we did, my wife helped me out too, but you know, that job, we got price quotes. They were all over the place. People wanted $25,000 at least. That was the minimum. 25 grand to put new cabinets, countertop, and the whole 9 yards. At least 25,000. Materials, everything. The cabinets, everything included with the quartz countertop, the island, everything, the installation of the counter. Because the countertop, we didn't do it. Japanese guys came in, they put that countertop for us. They cut it out, and then they measured it, they cut it, and they brought it a few days later, put it, install the sink. All that, $5 grand. So easily saved over $20,000. You know, YouTube is the best thing. Years ago, before YouTube was out, before all this, you had to buy books on it, like Time and remember those Time and Life books? One was for electrical, one was for this. You had to literally read those books. Now you could just watch videos on all that stuff, and you say, "Oh, that's how you do that." Okay. I never installed cabinets in my life. You know, different gear TV. I can paint your house if you like for only $20,000. Yeah, that too. Even painting, painting. People think painting is cheap. If you hire a painter, it costs money. I do. I paint. I've been painting for years. I paint since I can remember. I learned how to paint. Painted my own rooms when I was growing up in the Bronx. I learned how to paint. You know, you see these union painters, they make good money just painting by the hour they make. You know, those painters that work on those bridges, they make more than a cop. There's people that paint bridges and all that. They climb up on the bridge and they paint. You know, yeah, of course they got to walk up the bridge thing. They make top dollar. Those are top union paint jobs. He makes more than a cop in New York City. I bet you that guy makes more than a cop just painting. I'm telling you, it's you know. So you know all this stuff you learn on YouTube, it saves you. You save a lot of money. You save a lot of money because if I, like I say, if I want to hire somebody, now also God bless me that I can still do it. You know, I'm 59 years old. I just turned 59 last month. God, God bless that I can still do this. I'm still physically able enough to put up cabinets and climb up a ladder and things like that. You know, so I can still do that. Hopefully, in another 10 years, I can still do some of it. Otherwise, you know, my son by then he'll be, a young man. He'll have to take over and do a lot of stuff if you're gonna keep this house. You know. But yeah, that too. If he physically, I know some of us are not, physically can't do some of the things. Just me climbing up that roof. I have to go to. There's a ladder outside the house that I have to climb up to go to the roof. I can still do that. I can still climb up that steel ladder to go up on the roof. I don't want to be doing it often anymore because I know Ty, we talked about it earlier about the satellite dish. That's why I want to put it. I don't want to put a big dish up there. I'd rather have it over here. One, I don't want to have it up there because I don't want to, anytime roofing is very tricky. Anytime you start mounting stuff on the roof and you have to drill holes and put screws, you're creating a spot where water can go in, even if you seal it. So, right now I have a pole mounted to the chimney, and then the other pole's already there mounted to the edge of the wall, the wall that's on the roof. But I don't have nothing mounted directly on the roof. I don't want to do that because when you do that, you open up. Even if you drill a hole and you put screws in and you seal it with the roofing sealant, whatever, there's always a possibility that that ceiling can dry up over years and then water goes in. And I don't want to take that chance. I don't take that chance. This house is 100 years old, so I don't want to do all that. So if I ever do that dish thing, I'm just gonna be in the backyard. That's the way I'll do it. Or even the fence. I can still use the fence. The fence that's between my neighbor and I is a chain link fence. Where I have right now, for example, I have the U-loop out there. I'm gonna take that U-loop down probably soon, and maybe I'll put the mount there. I'll probably use that pole and connect it to another pole, and then use that for the dish. If I'm ever gonna put a dish, maybe I'll use that side. So I have that corner to do that. I could do it there. I don't want to do it on the roof. That's the only spot that I can put a dish because I believe it's facing this way for the satellites. If I remember, it's facing this way. So that's the only spot. If I go over here, the trees just covers the whole thing. It has to be in that corner. That's the only spot I can get at least some of the sky. It's very limited here for that stuff. You know, if I didn't have all these trees here, I could just put the pole on top of the garage, or right next to the garage, right there. But I have all these trees here, and they're big trees, and I can't cut them down. I'm not gonna cut them down. Can I pay somebody to do it? Yeah, I could pay, but it's gonna cost me a lot of money, and I'm not willing to do that. If the city wants to do it, they can do it. They can cut down those trees. In fact, one of the trees is where I had the end fed at, coming down into my yard. I use one of the trees for that. But I wish those trees were gone. I will have more view of the sky. I have a telescope here. I bought the other telescope. It's right there. Remember when I talked about a few months ago? It's right there. That's the other telescope right there. But I have a limited view of the sky because of all the trees, and you know, that corner is the only spot that I can use a telescope. I have that one, and I have the other telescope upstairs where I can view, because over here all these trees took up this whole spot. It's all blocking half of my sky. Just had 2 maple trees trimmed and dead cut tree for $1,000. Yeah, I don't want to spend. I don't want to spend. And that's the city. And by the way, that's not my tree. That's on the city side, city property. Outside my yard, that's the city of Yonkers owns. You know, they maintain all those trees. That's all city of Yonkers out there. So I called about that years ago. There was a dead tree that was near my house that they cut, but these trees are not dead. But I'm gonna have to put a complaint saying, listen, your branches are over my yard, and a couple of them got dry and they fell on my yard, almost injured. You know, that did happen. There was a couple of branches, but it was the dead tree that was doing that. So that's the only thing I can do, is I can keep calling the city, and then one day they'll come and probably trim it. How then they want to cut down that tree? It's been there. That tree looks like it's been there for at least 100 years. Those trees next to my house, they got to be over 100 years old. What the hell was that flicker? I just saw a flicker. Yeah. And so I definitely, I don't know if I want to pay that much. I mean, I have an idea about trimming one of them, and I bought the chain. One of the branches kind of long, but it's not really heavy, but it's long. That one I bought a chainsaw for that. It's actually the ones you throw up there with a rope, and then you grab it. You can just do it manually. I have one of those, but I'm waiting for all the leaves to fall, and then I can get that one down. I have to look into all that. Different gear to you. Often there are preservation orders on trees, even if you, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you see my backyard many times. Outside my yard is a hill, and it goes all, and it's like a forest out there. And that's all city of Yonkers. So of course those are going to be probably, you know, like city land, whatever. I don't know what to call it, landmark or whatever. It's what makes this area, you know. And don't get me wrong, I like the trees behind my yard. I like to hear the birds in the morning. You know, of course you see the animals out there, you see the squirrels and all that, raccoon and all that. It's kind of nice, especially when I used to go in the city and I would come here, and that area feels like I'm in the boondocks or in the country, whatever. And it's right in my backyard. It's just that this one particular tree next to my fence is way over like this. It's sprawling. It's like one branch goes all the way down there. But when there's one branch that's really big, it's going way over it's like half of my yard. And it's way up there. It's high. It's like 80 feet up. I mean, not 80 feet. Probably like 40 plus feet. And then goes to it. It creates, the good thing about it creates a lot of shade in the summer. But at some point, and maybe at some point I'll get somebody with a bucket that can trim that branch. Yeah, because that's the one that's obstructing half of my view of the sky. You know, but I can't cut it myself. It's too big. It's too heavy. If that thing were to fall, it'll do damage to my garage roof. So I can't do it myself. I have to get somebody with a bucket and cut it like section by section, and then safely take it out like that. You know, I thought about renting a bucket and doing it myself, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, and maybe get somebody else to help me. And I said, nah, I won't do that. I see somebody do that on YouTube, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get on a bucket and go all the way up there and start with the rope. I don't want to do all that. Forget it. Some things is best not do it yourself. And that's one of them. I don't want to do that. Yeah. RT08. My dead tree was on the city easement, but they would never cut it. But I haven't called for this tree yet. I did call for the one that was dead in the front. And that one, it took a couple of years, but they finally came in and got rid of it. They cut it down completely. They only left the stump. I mean, they cut that sucker down. When they came, I thanked them. I said, thank you for what you guys doing. Oh my God, you have no idea. Because that tree was gonna fall. I made it clear to them. That tree was gonna fall. It was falling apart. It was dead. One by one, the branches were falling down. And one big branch fell on my yard. It was big. It was big enough that if one of us would have been standing there, it would have killed me. It would have killed any of us. And at that time, my son was a toddler. He was running around out there. That would have anybody, even a grown man like me, would have killed me instantly. Because we're talking about when that thing landed, I heard the thump, and then we ran out here, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And that's when I started calling the city, and they got rid of it. So we don't got that problem no more. We don't get big branches, but that was a big one, and it fell, and wow, even yeah, but that one was a scary one because that one I really sometimes I'm out there too. That's why I sit out, by the boulder where I sit out and I put my radio and I sit there and I do some DXing. That's where I landed at, right around there. So if I would have been sitting out there at 2 a.m. doing some AM DXing, that thing could have landed on me and killed me. It was that spot. That's where the branch landed, right around there. And I was like, no. Now I feel safer going out there. But every time I go out there, even in that corner, I'm always got to be on alert. The minute you start hearing wood crackling or something, I'm running out of there. But that tree was dead. That's why they cut it down. Because I told them, and I kept using that word. It's dangerous. And then one branch fell in front on the street side, and it almost landed on a car. It landed on the sidewalk right next to the car. I think that's what got them their attention when it started falling on the street side. They didn't care about my side, but when it started falling on the street side, I called in again and I told them, I said, listen, this tree is dangerous. There's kids playing outside, and the branch landed right on the sidewalk. And that's what they got the attention. When you call them up and you say it's dangerous, you got to use keywords. I learned that from 311. I was a 311 operator. Yeah, when you use the words dangerous, there's keywords you have to say. They have to prioritize it, the complaint. And when I did that complaint, I think within a month or two, they came and they finally cut it all down. They cut the tree down. But this tree's not there yet. But it's just obstructing my view, man. That's the only thing I mean, hey, I got an infant out of it so far. I may put another antenna up, actually. But a vertical one. I'm thinking about putting a vertical wire straight up. And that one, I may use it for just I want to try I want to try all bands on it. But I want to try medium wave DXing with that one. I want to put like 80 feet of wire going straight up. I don't know. Like that, I saw a YouTuber did that a long time ago. I don't think he's active on his channel anymore. I first saw that he put a vertical wire on a tree. I think it was like 40, 50 feet up for DXing, for medium wave DXing and all that. This is like in the early days of my channel. This is like first year of my channel. I used to watch this guy. Then he made another antenna that he had to crank it up. It was a vertical. And it was like 60 feet of wire or something. You know, I still got a couple of tricks up my sleeve I want to do. I want to do a long. I really want to do a long, just a long wire, like 200 feet or something. But my yard, it will have to go outside my yard, and then that's when it gets tricky because somebody might mess with it. That's why I can't. You know, I would like to do something like that, like some kind of beverage antenna or something. You know, maybe get some transatlantic medium wave, which I never done. I never gotten transatlantic signals. That's the only thing I haven't gotten. Like you guys in Europe, you know, like Oxford, he gets transatlantic stuff from here over there. And married to the exit too. See, I can never get the opposite. Like me listening to the BBC, long wave, getting here. I never had that luck. And I tried, but I think the only way to do that for me is well, if I had a Wellbrook, which I don't have. I heard Wellbrook, you can do that with a well. That's what they had. They had Wellbrook. Or a long wire, or I have another theory that I may do it with. It's called a Cas loop. Maybe you do something like that. But I have to build a mast for that. It's like, you know, you need like it's like a, you know, it's like a delta, like a triangle. I have that. I could do that. Maybe with maybe 75 feet of wire here, or I don't know if I could do 75. I could probably do 50, like 50 feet of wire, maybe 50 feet, and then the bottom will be like almost 100 feet. I'm not even 100 feet. I still can't do 100 feet because that'll take up most of my yard. I can't do that. So yeah, that's. Sometimes, you know, I wish I had like acres of land. Boy, if I had acres, you know how many antennas I would have out there? I would have like 200 meter wire going that way. I would have another 200 meter wire going that way. That would be sick. Meaning with DXing, you know, like that guy, what's his name? Arctic, whatever the guy's name is, the guy from Finland. That guy has he got like 300 meters of wire in his back in the woods. That man, he has medium wave stations in China, all over the world. Medium waves in the Middle East from Finland. Yeah, he picks up medium wave in Japan. He has picked up with that long wire. That's crazy, right? And it sounds clear. Because of course he lives in the woods out there. There's no noise. He picked up stations like all around the world. All around the world. Same thing with the other guy from Argentina. I think he has 300 meters of wire antenna. He's picked up medium wave stations from Alaska all the way from Argentina. He lives in Argentina. He picks up medium wave stations all around West Coast, Midwest, all over the Caribbean, all over South America. He's picked up medium wave. He's picked up Alaska medium wave. I think, of course, Canadian medium wave he picked up also. Man, if I had just a couple of acres of land, I would go nuts. Yeah. Hello, Jim Gordon. I hope you're doing well. from Dundee, Scotland. Great to see you all again. It is definitely moving towards winter. Yeah. I recently bought the Kidosin DX286 and I'm starting to use it. It is a keeper. Yeah, I love mine. Right? This is my go. This is my go-to radio right there. There you go. It's the one you have right here. I love my DX286. When I travel, this is the radio that comes with me. This one and of course the TF6686. These are my two. And I still take my D808 because it has single sideband. This doesn't have single sideband. So, but yeah, this is my go-to radio. Medium wave DXing. This is my go-to radio. FM DXing. This one is pretty good FM DXing. But of course, I like this display on this one. Because that one has the RDS, nice and clear. Everything on the one screen. But they're both the same chip. I have the same chip. But yeah, I love my DX286. And that's the one that I tell people if you want a shortwave portable, but you don't care about single sideband, DX286. If you care about sideband, then PL330, right? PL330. I would just get that. PL330. D808, yeah, I would still get that. I have that. I love my D808. Of course, now they have a new D808. You know, I know they have that new radio that has a TF66 radio and the SI4732 together. Because they basically try to say that it's a TF6686 with single sideband. It's not. It's two different radio chips in there. And you have to switch one radio to another. So it's two radios in one. No, I don't care about that. I'm happy with the TF6686. It does what it does. You know, if I want a single sideband radio, I have the PL660. I have the D808. SH did the D808. You know, I don't want this radio to be a single sideband because I don't care about single sideband on this radio. When I bought this radio, it's for one reason only. It was actually two reasons. But the main reason was FMDXing for this radio. That was number one reason, was FMDXing. Number two reason, it's very good on medium wave too. It's very good on medium wave. And shortwave is pretty good. On shortwave broadcast, I picked up good, you know, it's good. It's all around. It's a good radio, all around. All around. So I don't care if it doesn't, but people say it's a game, it's a deal breaker if it doesn't have single sideband. No, I don't care about single sideband for this radio. I have plenty of other radios that do single sideband. This radio does a good job with FM and medium wave. That's what I care about. That's it. If I want a single sideband, I use my other radio. My, you know, PL360. I don't have that one. I have the original PL360. That's the one I have. But yeah, you can use that one. I have the 660. I can use that one if I want to do single sideband. I have other radios I can do single sideband. I have Sony. Sony right there. That's Sony right there. That's single sideband. That's the ICF 2002. It's older, but single sideband. That's single sideband right there. You know? But the DX286 does it does what it does best. FMDXing. That radio, FMDXing, I could take it outside right in my backyard, extend the antenna, move it around. I could pick a Philly. Just like that. I could pick a Philly on 90.9. I could pick a Philly. This radio. 89.1 WGBH out of Boston with his radio. That's 160 miles away. Was it 100? Anyway, pointing, I can pick it up. It's very sensitive on FM. It's very awesome. I can pick it up. In my backyard, I've done it. I moved around. I heard Philly on FM. Philly is about under 90-ish, 97 miles. It's under 100 miles away. I can hear with this radio in my backyard. Philly. Boston, I think it's 160 miles. give or take. Is it 160? Anyway, 150 miles plus. This radio outside, I can hear it. If I go on the roof, even better. That's why I bought the radio. I bought the radio only because of FM. AM is a bonus. It's a bonus, but FM is it's king. It's a great FM DXing radio. Awesome. That's why I love that radio. So when I know people say, I read these comments, I just shake my head like, you sound dumb when you say that. It doesn't have single sideband. No, it does what it does best. People gotta stop. People gotta stop comparing. People think that every radio has to have everything. No, some radios are good at one thing, and some radios are good at another thing. This chip is good at what it does, FM and AM, medium wave, because this was a car chip. That's what it does best, because it shields a lot of noise and whatever. It turned out to be a very sensitive radio when they took it out of the car and they put it on a portable like this. It turned out to be a great DXing radio. Stumbled upon that because of that chip. Is it gonna? Can you pick a no on it? No, it's not. It doesn't have weather band. Does it have airband? No, it doesn't have airband. That's not what the chip was designed for. The chip was designed for AM, FM radio in your car, and it did a real good job on it. Like my wife's car. She has an old Honda Civic, right? Honda Accord, excuse me, Honda Accord. Yeah, Honda Accord. That car radio in there, you driving, I'll put it. I heard Cuba. 790, I hear Cuba. I hear Radio Reloj, Cuba. Somewhere we're driving up there, 50 miles away up there, going up to Monroe County. I can hear Cuba, 790. The car radio, can hear Cuba. That's how good that the chip is. It's designed for that. I can hear Canada East. I can hear 740 clear as a bell on that car. Or the other one, the 600 North Bay, Ontario. 600 AM. I can hear the country music. That's Ontario. North Bay, Ontario. It's not even that powerful. I think it's only 5,000 watt. It's not a real powerful station, 5,000 watts, something like that. Country music, I can hear it. That's what the chip is designed for. It's not designed for a single sideband in a car. It's designed for AM, FM. Because you're driving through open roads. There's no buildings or whatever, and that thing picking up everything. That's the car chip. That's the same thing that's in here. It's built to pick up, especially with all the electronics going on on the engine and all that. And it does it well. I mean, you can hear the squealing sometimes, the engine. It's not the best audio. Because, even in the car when I heard those stations, sometimes you hear the squealing, things like that. But it picks it up. The car radio, and that's where they got the idea from. They said, let's take that chip and let's put it on a radio like this. And, they created a monster. Now companies are trying to catch up with that now. They're gonna try to top this. They're not gonna be able to top this right away. Not gonna be able to top it. At this price, it's $79. But you can get this if you get a good deal, you get it for under $60 maybe. I seen it on AliExpress. Sometimes they had a sale under $60 for this. This sensitive radio for this price, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it. It's just yeah, it is a keeper. This is definitely a keeper. It's one of my. I have all these radios. I will not sell this radio. I will not sell this radio right now. This is the best radio. This is the one I take for me to travel now. This is my radio right here. If I had to take one radio only for travel, it would be this radio. Okay? This radio. Because I know this radio is going to be, wherever I go, I'm going to hear DX everywhere. AM and FM. I'm going to get DX on this radio. And it's a good shortwave radio too. And by the way, it has long wave. But, long wave is useless here in the United States. But if you travel in Europe, also a long wave. Yeah. Hello, Theo, my friend. I hope you're doing well, buddy. How are you? I'm doing great. I'm doing good. I just took a break. Renamed my channel. I'm gonna cover other topics. All types of topics, all text topics. We talked about gold and silver earlier. We talked about TV. We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about. This is the DX. This is a Kidosin DX286. So I'll put the link at the end of the live stream. I'll put the Amazon link to it. You can get the radio for about $79. It's a great radio. This is the best radio for FM DXing, medium wave DXing, and shortwave is very good on shortwave. It just doesn't have single sideband. No single sideband. No air band, no weather band. It's just AM, FM, shortwave, long wave. That's it. But it's a very good radio. It is a very good radio. Very good. And I was just talking about it earlier that I could go outside my house and with the antenna, I can hear Philadelphia on FM 90 plus miles away with this radio. No other radio can do that. Only this radio. And this one too. This one. But this one definitely, I done it. So Kidosin DX286. Let me write it down here. But I'll put the link. I don't want to open up another tab because this computer is it's definitely cold. Oh, people pronounce it Kodosen. Oh, sorry. Let me my mouse. Sorry. People pronounce it Kodosen DX286. Put them out right there. So yeah, Kodosen. People not. I say Kidosen, but you can pronounce it Kodosen DX286. And that radio, the only thing I recommend. Well, now I think now they sell it with a bigger. When you buy this radio, it don't come with a battery. So yeah, I don't mind that it come with a battery, for whatever reason. Anyway, I bought the SH Data batteries from SH Data website. This is a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. The yellow one, that's the one I bought. I have batteries there anyway, but this is the one I bought. $11 for two batteries, for two of these. I bought it from SH Data. 3,000 because if you put a regular 2200 milliamp battery, this radio is power hungry. It will last you only a few hours. With the 3,000, you get longer. It lasts longer. So I will go with the 3,000 milliamp hour battery. So, you can buy these batteries, two for $11.99 at the SH Data website. That's why I bought mine. I will buy those. Those are very good batteries. Yeah, so for AM, it will be very good. Yeah, AM DXing is AM DXing is very, very good. This radio is very good for AM DXing. It has the bandwidth filter. You can bring it all the way down to 1 kilohertz. So you can narrow the bandwidth down. It doesn't have single sideband, but you don't need it for medium wave DXing. You can just narrow the bandwidth. So if you got a powerful station, like for example, if I'm trying to listen to 760, but WABC is bleeding over 770, I could bring it down to 1 kilohertz, and I could be able to listen to 760. So, well, I believe it is good for long wave, but I heard some people giving mixed review on long wave. I cannot test it on long wave because I don't have long wave here in the United States. So, Jim Gordon, is it good for long wave? I can hear Algeria, Poland, UK here kind of clearly without an external. Yeah, that is one of the down things. Different gear. Yeah. The kickstand on this is horrible. I don't use the kickstand at all. I have my own stand. But yeah, this kickstand is flimsy. You see, it looks kind of cheap. It is cheap though, and it will break easily. I don't use the kickstand, so yeah, it's a good point. That's one of the few cons about this radio. I wish they did a better kickstand. The kickstand on this is horrible. It's cheap. It will break. I don't use it. I don't use it. I just put it on the stand. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't use this. The kickstand is horrible. I can hear Algeria, Poland, and the UK here in Scotland clearly without an external aerial. You're right about FM. Mine receive very low power hospital station. Yeah, it does. FM is there's nothing. There's no other radio close to this other than this radio, the TF6686. This version, very good on FM. And that's it. That's the only two radios that I know of on FM that is very, yeah. So different gear TV. Also be careful with the kickstand on the radio. It breaks real easily. I bought a replacement from AliExpress, which came with a spare antenna. So yeah, I don't use it. As soon as I saw it, when I first bought the radio, or actually my wife bought it for me. When I received the radio, as soon as I did the unboxing, I didn't like the kickstand. It feels cheap. So I already knew I'm not going to use that. Because when I put it, I could see it already. The minute I put the weight on it, I could see it already. You see? So I said, nah, I'm not trusting that kickstand. So yeah, that's one of the things I don't like about the radio is the kickstand. But I don't use the kickstand. I avoid it. I had a radio similar to that one, the similar kickstand, very skinny, and that one broke off. I believe it was one of the old Grundigs. I have a Grundig, an older Grundig. I forgot which one. Not the Yacht Boy. It's another one. And it had a skinny kickstand like that. And that thing, the minute I put it, it broke. So yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, 3 hours and 21 minutes in the books. I am going to sign off now. I just want to say, everybody, thank you for watching. I'll be back soon. And take care, everybody. I'll see you soon. And thank you for stopping by. And yep. Yeah, the DX. Let me see. Jim Gordon, the DX286 telescope is flimsy. We were breaking, also loosened. I haven't had that issue yet. I try not to use it all the time. So I haven't had that issue yet. So, but yeah, I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, I'm very happy with my radio. I highly recommend this radio. I will put the link in the description at the end of the live stream when I update the description. I'll put the Amazon link. Anybody interested in getting this radio, get it through my Amazon link, and I get a little tiny commission on there. So if you want to get it through there, it'll be helping out the channel. But I made a review on this radio already. So this radio is definitely one I highly recommend. Especially if you're into FM DXing, medium wave DXing, and you don't care about single sideband, then that's the radio right there. All right, so everybody have a good night. Different Gear TV. I bought a Silver TF radio. You have there. I wanted to set up a web server. I can't really find a clear instruction. I'm looking into making a video on that actually, because the videos that are out there, they're kind of outdated already. So I am actually looking into making a video on it. It's just I haven't had time, but I am looking into making a video on that because I think I can make a good video on how to set it up. There's only two issues I'm going to ask about that. Is I set mine up with Windows 11. That seems to be the easiest way to do it. If you're going to do Linux, then that's a whole nother issue. I did mine with Windows 11. So if I'm going to do the video, I'm going to do it with Windows 11. I'm not going to do, I'm not even going to bother with Windows 10 anymore because Windows 10 is already garbage now. So, and I had Windows 10 was an extra step, but I will explain that in the video. But I did mine with Windows 11. So for me, that is the easiest way to set up your web server is use Windows 11. And then I'll make the video But Windows 11 for me, I found it to be the easiest. Because me too. Same here. I had trouble. I had trouble setting it up until I did it on Windows 11 machine, and I had to do a couple of things, and then I finally got it working right. So you're gonna need that, and you're gonna need one of these no matter what. Even if your computer already has a sound card, you're gonna need one of these. A dedicated. You're gonna need one of these too, no matter what. So whatever computer you decide to do the web server on, you're gonna need this because you want to have a dedicated. Okay, so you're right there. You're good. Windows 11. You're gonna need one of these, right? And on your router, you have to enable port forwarding. That is the most important thing. Is after you set up with other thing here, you have to do port forwarding. Now, in my case, anytime you do port forwarding, you have to be careful with the computer you're hosting on. So if you're gonna do a web server like I did, this computer is only dedicated to do that. I don't have nothing personal in here. I don't care if this computer gets hacked. It's Windows 11, but I don't have my Google accounts in here. I don't have my YouTube in here. None of that. I only have the web server stuff here. That's it. That's it. You got to do that too. If you want to do it on a machine that you already have all your stuff, I would not be comfortable with that because now you're opening up ports. And you have to open up port 8080. That's the default port for FMDX web server, 8080. Okay? If you're not comfortable with doing port forwarding, I mean, you have to go into your router and set that. I'm going to do all that. The videos out there don't talk about all that. So I got to cover everything. So when I make this video, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a good video because nobody has a video like mine. When I do mine, it's going to be all in English. Most videos that do it, they don't talk. I don't understand when people do videos and they don't talk. You have to talk to explain what can happen or this doesn't happen. You see my tutorial videos. They're all pretty thorough. I talk slow and whatever. They're a little probably long sometimes, but everybody loves my tutorial videos. And I feel like some people don't want to talk because of the language, whatever, that's fine. But when you want to make a tutorial video, you have to talk in them. So I want to do a video like that. And then I should put that on my post-it note and start, it'll take me like a day to do that. Probably a day. Because I have to shoot takes and all that. But Windows 11, yeah, then you're good. Then you're the easiest path. Because Linux is a whole different thing. They have it for Linux, but it's a whole different thing. You're gonna need one of these sound cards. You're gonna need the wire that goes from your TF radio headphone. It's gonna go to headphone to this microphone. You're gonna need that wire. So you need this and that wire. 3.5 millimeter that goes from your TF radio headphone, the speaker thing, to the microphone. It's going to go to the microphone here. So, and then the software part is pretty straightforward. But also there is some caveats on that too, because again, Windows 11 seems to handle it better than Windows 10. Windows 10 is an extra step you have to do. And then once you get that set up, the router. Once you get up the router, that's then you're all good to go. I can show you all that. But I want to make a video on it. All right, so there you go. So thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good night, everybody. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.